Hi, friends. Happy Star Wars Day. It is May the 4th, and we are diving into this Star Wars build. So, first, starting with the logo, which came out, I think, last year, and then moving on to C-3PO. So, we'll see how far I get today with the logo, but I'm planning to try and at least get started on C-3PO. So, welcome. The question of today that I had on the chat was tell me about a Star Wars memory that you have. So, I saw Jean's version did this today online, and it was a wonderful way to see about lots of people having fun Star Wars memories and just thinking through all the different ways that this show and franchise and movies and all that kind of stuff has meant to people. So let me know in the chat what it is that you love about Star Wars, a fun Star Wars memory that you have, that kind of thing. So let's see. Awesome. Hey there. How's it going? Good to see you. Welcome back. So appreciate you returning and having fun with these live streams with me. I really enjoy this time each week. Hello, Victor. Good to see you. All right, here's bag 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So only 6 bags in this, which is good. It gives me promise that we'll get to C-3PO sometime today. So tell me again in the chat, what's a fun Star Wars memory that you have? Even if you're not like a big fan, which you should be, just kidding. But even if you're not like a big fan, I'd love to know what does Star Wars mean to you, or kind of what have you kind of experienced with it. So are you done with your Pokemon card build? I am, and I'm not. You can actually see it right there. So what I ended up building is much smaller than the dimensions that are required for the contest, which I didn't realize until I went to submit it. So I still submitted it as is. We'll see what feedback they give. I'm assuming they're going to tell me that I need to rebuild it bigger. So my plan for tonight, depending if they reject it or not, is to potentially build my card digitally. So we'll see. And since you asked about it, I'll bring it over to show you. So we had a great chat through Instagram about these builds. My card ended up being petite and cute. So here's Rowlett, and he's got the classic tackle attack, which is fun. And my hope with this was that he would be just like super cutesy and fun. Rowlett is honestly one of my favorite Pokemon, especially when I first started playing the card game. And so I was very excited to build this for him. I also have one built for Applin, which is one of the Pokemon that is not allowed for this contest. And so I'll eventually show you that one, but I kind of took the parts that I was using for Applin to finish this one out. So I need to like source a few more parts to rebuild, but I plan to have both so that I can have them on display at LEGO conventions. So yay. Oh, fun. I love that that's your son's favorite too. And so thank you so much for the kind words. Did you finish yours, Victor? Awesome. Hi, Bev. So you said my brothers loved it. You're not interested at all, but you do like R2-D2. I do too. Here's R2-D2 right here. And then we've got BB-8 right there. And then just beyond the screen is another droid. We've got all the droids just hanging out together right over there. They're competing with Pokemon for the star of the show. But of course, today, it has to be Star Wars as the star of the show. A funny memory was when my son realized the stormtroopers are the bad guys. That's awesome. To be fair, at that point, he'd only seen Lego sets and a poster we had with the stormtrooper. That's really funny. And honestly, it's not a big surprise given the way that the Lego partnership and Disney purchase has exploded the franchise into things where a lot of times what you see is stormtroopers. If you're just looking at photos or sets or things kind of separated from the movies, is that they're silly and goofy and fun. Like the Lego the Legoized versions of them, I think they often are very goofy. So you wouldn't necessarily think they're villains. That's really funny. Honestly, I love the visual of a stormtrooper. And when the first set of Disney minifigs came out, I traded all of the heads to have them on the stormtrooper bodies so they could all be in those. And I think the first Brickheads cosplay I did was my Brickhead stormtrooper where I put my head on it. So I have a fond feeling towards that, which is fun. Not yet. Pablo helped me with the big hammer Tinkaton has. Nice, which I'm glad you picked that one. I think it's a really fun one. but for some reason it got erased. Oh no! So I asked him to work on it again while I'm at work. Hopefully he's doing it. Yes, Pablo, you better be doing it. Also, does Pablo ever join these? If so, hi, Pablo. Stormtroopers being goofy usually happens at the Disney parks, for sure. During the former Star Wars Weekends events, they were scene stealers. Oh, that's so fun, Brandon. I would love to go and experience that. We've been to, I was looking for my mug because it's Disneyland, because we went to Disneyland and I brought our figures wearing the Stormtrooper suits when we went back in 2017. And so I have a series of photos from them, but haven't been since they've opened up more stuff there, as well as at the Disney parks. Okay, I'm going to dive into the build and then continue chatting with y'all. This is the first bag. It spells star, or backwards, rats. And then when you move on to the second bag, it spells wars, or backwards, straw. So we're going to dive into star, of course, but I like that it's set up where you can have two people building and one person building one word while the other builds another. Now, I did see someone modify the set so that the top said star and the bottom said Trek, which I thought was a very clever modification of this set. When it first was announced that this set was coming out, I was thrilled because I think it's a beautiful set. I love building letters. I think brick built fonts are interesting, and it's a really clever way to approach creating the design of this to make it fully brick built like this, as opposed to just like a sticker or a print, right, on a different set. But I also, that Lego typically doesn't send me the Star Wars sets to review because there are enough accounts that are Star Wars only accounts that it makes sense for them to get those, of course, you know. But I usually find ways to get a couple copies of the sets, of the ones that I really, really want to have later. So they allow us to do requests of sets 3 times a year. And I can use those for giveaways. I can use those for getting sets that I want for a specific activity or an event or for a fundraiser, like lots of different things that we can use them for. So I typically throw in the Star Wars sets I wanted as a part of that. So the C-3PO I threw in last year and haven't built it yet, so I'm finally getting around to it. But that was because during LEGO Masters, when we had our season opener, which was the amazing Star Wars challenge for Rebuild the Galaxy, we had talked about, John and I made an R2D2 / C-3PO build for our planet. And one of the things that got caught on television was him asking me between the two which one I'm more like, and I said C-3PO, and he said he was more like R2D2, and I think that's very true for both of us. And so because I already had the smaller R2D2, I was like, I really, really need and want that larger C-3PO. So it's a little bit of a nod to LEGO Masters as well. And then this year, I requested the Star Wars logo specifically to use today for Star Wars Day. So, let's see, what else do we have? You're going to Disneyland this weekend, Brandon. That's awesome. I have friends who were there, I think last weekend, and I can't remember what specifically they went for. And then I had friends who were there a couple weekends before that when they went to the Lego convention in LA. A lot of them stayed and did a little day or two in Disney afterward, which was so fun, and I was a little jelly. So have fun, do some really neat things. Yes, I saw the new Animal Crossing set and I am obsessed. I'm assuming you're talking about the Timmy and Tommy brick built one. It's cute. It's so cute and so clever. And I was thrilled to see something beyond just the small builds of the little houses. They're adorable. I like the little houses and I love the minifigures, but I was really wanting some kind of brick built characters. So I was thrilled. And of course, if you're going to do brick built characters from Animal Crossing, I think starting with that iconic family is probably a good start since everyone interacts with them in the game. I also could see them doing one for Isabel. So let's see, what else do we have? Have you seen the alternate builds for this set, for the Star Wars set? I have not. I mean, maybe, but tell me about them in the chat because I don't know exactly what you're talking about. I did see one of my friends who's an ambassador, Faraway Bricks. He did a really cool display stand of minifigures popping out in all different directions and having different ships flying around. And I thought that was a great modification of the set, but he still kept the Star Wars letters pretty standard. So let's see. Saturday at DCA and Sunday at Disneyland Park. Yay! And yes, Victor, you do need the Pokemon logo for your card. Is that what you're saying? You need to do the Pokemon logo for the back of the card, which I never did for mine. In part because I actually wasn't planning to enter the challenge. I was planning on I thought it would be fun, but I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get around to this. And then I was working on my build challenge prompt for the month. And as I was working on that, I was just kind of tinkering around with the concept of the disc, the round disc. And out came the shape of Applin. And I was like, this is an apple. And it's definitely Applin. It has to be. And therefore, I need to make a card for it. And then I built the entire card for it. And then I found out that Applin wasn't allowed for the contest. So I said, well, shoot. And I started over and built Rowlett, who, had I looked at the list first, that would have been my first pick anyway. So that's fine. But yeah, I was like, seriously? Of course. Of course. And then I completed that build and I was really excited about it. And I went to submit it. And it was as I was going to submit it that I saw the dimensions restriction, which was in my defense was pretty unclear. So on the website for what do you call it, for Lego Ideas, they do they have information about the rules that you have to follow, and on the Pokemon TCG specific activity, at the top of it, in the first paragraph, it says tips for trainers, and it has more or less what the rules are, minus the dimensions. They're not listed there, but it does say pick one of the ones from this list. Make sure that you only do that because other ones won't be allowed, and make sure it's a full art card, and a couple of other things that were specific to that. So it seemed to me like those are a list of requirements. So that was what I was building off of. And then below that, there's a section that says how it works. And since I've participated in these things before, I skipped past that because I thought I knew how it works. To my mistake there. So in reading or skipping past that, the next section said rules. So I clicked on rules, and it doesn't say anywhere in the rules that the dimension is a requirement. So if you read the opening paragraph, which says some of the expectations of what you need to do, and then if you read the rules section, nowhere does it say that the dimensions have to be 37 studs wide and 26 studs, or 37 studs tall and 26 studs wide. But then if you click on the thing that says how it works, in there it says, oh, by the way, we need it to be this specific dimension. So that's a piece of feedback I would give to Lego Ideas, which I probably will, because I think a lot of people could easily find themselves running into building something, not realizing that it's the wrong dimensions, because that wasn't listed in the rules section. It was listed in the how it works section, which is more, to me, how the submission process works and how the review process works. But I digress. It's fine. Not a big deal. If I can't end up submitting mine in the long run, that's okay. I had a good time with it, which is all that matters. And I really enjoyed the build process. And now I want to build the backside of the design. So because of the contest, I decided to buy some Pokemon TCG packs to use as physical reference. And you are not going to believe it. I ended up pulling a card worth 800. What? Victor, you sold it and bought a computer. Good for you. And what card was it? That is incredible. And it doesn't normally happen. So I would love to know what card it was because now I want to check my collection and see if I got one. But that's amazing. Do you play Pokemon? I know that we talked briefly about this, but I can't remember what you said. That is so cool. That is really, really cool. And I'm very happy for you, by the way. I want to be clear about that. I think sometimes people are like, "Ah, not fair." No, that's totally fair. That's really cool. I think that's an amazing thing to have happen, and like so rare. So how lucky. That's really cool. Um, and do you remember if it was perfect order or like what specific pack of cards it was? I have a dear friend, Ben, from the Lego community as well. Many of you might know him, Lego fan Bubba. And he got into collecting the TCG, collecting the cards recently. And he and I chat a lot about Pokemon, and he talks a lot about the values of the cards, and I have no idea what they are. Mega Charizard EX from Phantasmal Flames. That's so cool. Okay, I know exactly the card you're talking about, though, because I play the card game through the app, and that's a card that a lot of people like to play because it's a very competitive card. And if you're playing against someone who has that, it's not going to bode well for you typically. So that's cool. That's really cool. Were you a card collector or player before this? Of course, we got on the topic of Pokemon again, but I would love to know, to go back to the original question, what other memories do you all have about Star Wars? And while you're thinking about yours, I'll share one of mine. So, in my youth, in middle school or in high school, I worked at the movie theater, and it happened to be the same time frame as some very cool movies came out. And during that time, we would watch like 15 to 30-minute clips of movies during our breaks when we were on shift. So as long as there was room in the theater, we could go and sit down during our break and just kind of watch a little bit of the movies. And during that, so I've seen most movies that came out during the like 3 years that I worked there, but then also um, got to experience some really fun, big like pop culture moments. So that happened to be when the re-release of the original trilogy came out, that had all of the CGI added into it that a lot of people were upset about. And I will say the reason they were upset was because the original masters for the film were completely rewritten over, and so there's no existing originals anymore, which means they can't re-release the original movie without all of those things before. So really sad that that part of history was lost as a result of this. But anyway, I digress. It was such a fun time to be working at the theater because that was before the Star Wars craze was as big as it is now. And you got to see this niche fan base that was thrilled about this re-release. And then either at the same time or just after those three came out was The Phantom Menace. And so while I worked there for The Phantom Menace, there was a man who cosplayed as Darth Vader for every other showing of the movie for a week straight. And what I mean by that is, by every other is, the movie was in two different theaters, and we had it playing where it was every other theater was showing, and they overlapped time. So so basically, he picked a theater and he went to every single showing that happened in a row in that theater, and then obviously missed the other ones because they were running simultaneously. And he got a Diet Coke and a large popcorn for every film. We had 7 films a day. And he went home, redid all of his makeup and all of his prosthetics and everything, and came back every single day for a week straight. And I was just overwhelmed with excitement and surprise that someone would spend that much dedication to their cosplay adventures. And this is also late 90s, not a time when that was considered cool. Although I will say that we all thought it was really, really interesting and wild and so fun. And I remember the news media came to our theater because they were like, this is a big deal. Like, what is going on? And that was when I started to really discover the excitement around this film franchise that I know I'd seen, but I remember seeing it more in the theater when I worked there than I did like at a younger age. It just had a stronger impression on me at that age. So, so that's one of my fun stories. I have a few others as well that I'll share today, but wanted to share some of those. So let's see. Just from the Pokemon TCG Pocket app, I used to when I was younger, but all my cards are in Mexico. You need to go back and get them. That's really cool. That's really fun. And I love that for you, that you found this really expensive one or valuable one. Have I watched Skeleton Crew? Yes. Is that the one with the kids? Forgive me on misremembering that, whoever the Star Wars gods are. We watched, I think, almost all of it, and I want to say it came out around the holidays, and so we switched over to watching like cheesy holiday movies and then didn't finish. So I think we have maybe one episode left or two, but I remember really liking it and thinking it was fun and had a lot of heart to it and just had a different vibe to me than what a lot of the other films had been. So, okay, this is really interesting to see. I can tell the STAR already are coming together based on the way these letters are put together. And for me, because it's mirror, no, it's not mirror image. Oh, cool. Wait. So you can see that. Does it look like STAR to you, or does it look backwards? I don't know how you see it. I just realized this is so close to the camera that you can't see what I'm building. So this actually would be a really fun time lapse because you do see the letters grow as they build. That's cool. Oh, cool. Awesome. I'm glad you can see what I'm seeing too. Yay. Yeah, it was a super fun series. I really enjoyed it. We just need to finish it for sure if we didn't get around to it. So yeah, we've watched most of all of the newer series that have come out in terms of the live action. The one that we're behind on is Andor. And so because I knew that it was in preparation for Star Wars Day, which I would say arguably is bigger for me than it is for Philip, although he loves pop culture and pop culture moments and things. And so like he enjoys the shows and films. But I would say I'm probably more of the fan than he is. But we watched a recap on the episodes we'd already seen, which was, I think, 6 episodes from the first season. So we're way behind. And then we watched the next episode after that. So I want to say we're through 7 of the 9 seasons or episodes of the first season. And we did that last night. I wanted to watch more of it, but I was actually too busy photographing my rowlet and getting my submission ready to go for Lego Ideas. So didn't have a chance to continue. So, but that one I'm actually really, really enjoying. And I wanted to make sure that I was following the story pretty well. So curious from y'all, since we talked about some Star Wars memories, are there any Star Wars shows that you really like, and which ones and why? Which ones have like really appealed to you? So, are you watching the TV show from what? Mandalorian, yes. We've watched all of it and are caught up. And so that's one that we're excited to see the movie, but because it's been a while since we've seen the episodes, we're going to find a recap. We usually watch, there's one called Screen Crush that we enjoy, but there's a few others that we'll sometimes watch as well. So the name is From. Oh, are you watching the show From? I've never heard of From. So I don't know what that is. But please tell us all in the chat because I'll have to look it up. Anyhow, we watch the recaps typically on Screen Crush because we do like their content, although their ads can sometimes be like a little too much and cringy. But I'm glad that they're getting a way to pay the bills because they're doing a lot of great work. So we'll find a recap one just to figure out what we forgot from the show before we go see the movie. And we need to get our tickets because that's coming up soon. I think it's Memorial Day weekend that the show becomes available. So speaking of movies, we just watched The Devil Wears Prada 2, which was so good, y'all. It was so fun. Being one of the people who actually grew up seeing the original in theaters, like that movie the original movie is one I love, love, love. And this was just a very, very well done sequel. So I highly recommend. Let's see. What else do we have in here? Bath and Body Works is releasing some merch from Mandalorian. Of course they are. That does not surprise me. I need to look and see what it is because that's really silly and fun. Philip has a big habit of buying lots of Bath and Body Works products. So our house is always full. I feel like he could be an ambassador for them with the amount of stuff that he buys from them, which is just so silly. But we do actually, we really like their stuff. Although I've heard lots of hot takes on the chemicals in them not being good for you and lots of other things that we should probably look into. So we'll just say it that way. Let's see. Season 3 and 4 of Rebels is very cool. Awesome. That's one that I'm going to need to watch. I started Rebels actually because of Jean's version. She had recommended it. And I really enjoyed it, the start of it. I just... it was kind of off and on here and there because Philip wasn't interested in it with me. And so it was something I was just watching when it was just me. And usually my TV time is shared time with him. It's not something that I do as often alone, just because usually when we're not together, I'm building or I'm, doing other hobbies and things. So yeah, if he's not interested, then it typically takes me a little bit longer to get through some of the shows. So The Acolytes was also great. It was so good. I really enjoyed that one. That was the one with, oh my goodness, Rosario Dawson, right? So good. So interesting. Lots of depth to that too. I was really impressed. So a friend told me that the soundtrack from Devil Wears Prada 2 is really good. Yes, it is. And we are hopeful that it comes out on vinyl. It's fantastic. There's actually a lot of, I think there are 4 Lady Gaga songs. There's some throwbacks from the original film as well. So Madonna is on there too. It's a bop. It's a jam. A really, really good album. We've been listening to it actually since. Other than I switched over to vinyl the other day when I was building at home, but I've been having it on play in the Alexa and in the car as we drive around town. So we were actually in the car a lot this weekend for some reason. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Ahsoka. The Acolyte. Remind me about the Acolyte, please, because I feel like I saw it, but I'm not remembering the story. Live action Rebels. Ahsoka, you would say, is live action Rebels, right? Yeah, Acolyte, right? Yes. Remind me of the story of the Acolyte because I thought we watched it, but now I don't remember. High Republic era series. Okay. That's helpful. Give me a little bit more. Now I'm at a loss of if we saw that one. There have been so many. Hello, welcome. Good evening for you. I hope you had a wonderful Star Wars day, if you celebrate. Crimes. Okay. I think we watched it. That's bad. I can't remember. If you haven't gathered from my live streams, my memory is not the greatest. And so it very well could be that we watched the entire series and I forgot, but it didn't make enough of an impression on me for me to remember either. So there's that. I'm trying to. Oh, no. Okay. I do know this one. Yes. And we started it. We watched one episode and I was really confused. Someone goes around murdering Jedis. Yes. Thank you very much. That was helpful to get me there. It was, I think it was actually the word crimes, Victor, was what locked it in my brain of oh, yes. And I'm assuming that that's what you were saying was a hint for me of that series. Anyhow, we watched one episode. I remember liking it, but thinking, I feel like I need to know more about these characters. And I think a lot of people felt that way because they were brand new to the franchise characters. And so it was a little bit confusing. And I think that was right before we went to Denmark last year. Is that right? Do I have that timing right? Or it might have been right before we went to London the year before, but it was like right before we went on a trip to where we went on the trip and that took over everything. And so we ended up watching a ton of shows related to whatever country we were going to, which then pulled us away from the Alkalite. So I need to go back and watch that because I remember it being more serious and dark and very different of a vibe in a way that I really liked. So yay. Okay, that's fun. Now I have another one. I was going to give you the answer, or you weren't going to give me the answer. I love that, Victor. Thank you for not just diving right in. That's something that actually Philip does. He loves to play guessing games. And there are times when I just get really annoyed with him and I'm like, can you just tell me the answer? Because he does it literally all the time. It gets to be a bit of an annoyance. But I also appreciate that it helps me with practicing getting my memory working again. So I don't know what it is, but for some reason, my memory has just been struggling in the last, I don't know, handful of years. I feel like it's just been a different experience and it kind of freaks me out a little bit, but I try not to think too much about that. Because avoidance is a great strategy in life. Just kidding, y'all. Just kidding. Let's see. Yeah, these letters. This is really fun seeing this come together, and I think it's kind of fun that you all can see it go up as I build them out. I'm deciding for you that I think it's fun. That's what you can see. So, all right, let's see. It's also a period of Star Wars we haven't seen before outside books, comics, and games. I think that's also both a win and a frustration I had for this because I had such a hard time like placing it and connecting to it. It did get canceled. Still worth watching for the lore story. Amazing lightsaber fights. Yeah, I do remember it not getting a lot of great reception from people. But I remember being like, this is really fun. And like fun in a dark way, which I really like things that get very serious. Um, so yeah. Let's see. Any other stories around shows that you love? So I'm also in, and many of you may be in this too, but on Facebook, there's a group called, whoops, where'd it go? Well, it's not the piece I was looking for, but it's another piece. Let's see. There's a group I'm in called Lego Builders. And it's like hundreds of thousands of builders from around the globe who like to just build Lego. And so today I posted in there, what is one of your favorite, well, none of these are the right part. Oh my goodness. But I posted in there, what is your favorite Lego Star Wars memory? And people have been sharing builds that they've built that they love, which is a lot of fun. And then a few people have been sharing, here it is. A few people have been sharing stories that they have of the movies and things, which I love. And then there's a really angry person. I don't know if he's really angry, but his response was that his favorite Lego Star Wars moment was the time before Lego did Star Wars because that ruined everything. I was like, okay, be angry. It's fine. You're allowed to feel what you feel. But I just think it's funny when like someone asks a question, you're like, I'm going to answer what makes me the angriest. It's like, you do you, boo. You do you. So I'd rather focus on fun things and happy things. It did get canceled. Yeah, a lot of angry men. Hey, no surprise. They like to ruin things, don't they? Sometimes. Even though they claim that everything was ruined for them. Okay, I did something wrong here. There's supposed to be a space. Let me go backwards and see what I did wrong. So that was right. Okay, so all this is right. It's just this front thing that's wrong. Oh, I see now. This flips. Okay. Just a moment while I fix this. There we go. Now this should go on the back here. Wait, that didn't fix it. Oh, yes, it did. Ta-da! Okay, now there's that gap in the middle. And now I can flip this. Perfect. There we go. So now we get that interesting shape using these arches. This is really fun, y'all. The shaping that's coming through as I'm building this out, it's just an interesting and clever approach to getting the shaping of the letters effective. This is a really nice build so far. I'm pretty pleased. Okay, let's see. You have mentioned you play Fortnite. Yes, I do. Have you played the games they released last week? I have not. I've been obsessed with the Droid Tycoon. Okay, I'm gonna need to dive in. It's been a little bit of time since I dove back into the game. I think right after the holidays, I was a little too hooked on it, and I was like, you know what? I need to take a beat, and not be so hooked on this because it was taking over my time more than I wanted it to. But I really enjoy it. So I never thought I would enjoy that type of game. But and there's a million games within it, which I didn't really understand. Like it took a while to understand the whole like atmosphere of Fortnite and how vast it is. It's like this huge platform, and I thought it was just the shoot 'em up option, but I do like that version of it, which makes me feel a little bad sometimes, but it's okay. I love the Lego version of the game. I think it's so fun, and that's actually what got me started in playing Fortnite. And I remember early on when playing, I was just kind of running around, didn't really know what I was doing, and I ran across the Star Wars section, and I was like, "What? There's a whole Star Wars world in here. This is so cool." And then I went back to my regular part of the island and didn't go back to it because I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do there, and I was confused as to how I got there. Because it was early on in the game. And if you've ever played, like it's not very intuitive, in my opinion, and it takes you a while to kind of get your grounding. But then I figured out much more about it and better understood it. And then they released the whole Ninjago world of the game. And once I started to play that, then it all started to click for me of like, oh, I bet the Star Wars world stuff was released in a similar way as all this Ninjago stuff was. And I bet there was like a whole time period where when you entered the game, you entered automatically into the Star Wars portion of the game, just like it was set up for Ninjago. And I don't know if it's still set up that way for Ninjago because it's been a couple months since I played, but I loved all the Ninjago stuff. I was really having a good time exploring that. So it made me think as soon as I'm done like with the Ninjago activities in the game, then I'm going to move over to the Star Wars ones and see what I can explore from that because I think it's a lot of fun. So let's see. I don't know why I find the Lego Fortnite so overwhelming. I've tried it so many times, but I just can't. I totally get that. Honestly, it was very overwhelming to me as well. Oh, that's the R. I was wondering what that shape was going to be for. Okay, this is so freaking cool. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's amazing. That is amazing. Okay, now I'm seeing that it's backwards for y'all. So, ooh, do you want me to flip it? Now, do you see star? Does that look right to you? I'm assuming you do because that's what I see. And when I move my hand this way, my hand goes the other way on the screen. So I'm assuming it's not mirrored. So. Yay. Okay. Sorry. It was wrong the whole time. I thought it was right, but now I know. I don't need to apologize for that. That's silly. Okay. Oh, wait. There's one more piece. Wait, where does this go? Ooh, it finishes out and connects the top of the R. Okay. Anyway, moving on to the next piece. Awesome. So, the saying something. Oh, the Lego Fortnite. It's very confusing at the beginning, and you just randomly run around. Hey, Zach! Happy May the 4th! What are you doing to celebrate May the 4th other than joining my stream, which makes me so happy to have you all here. I'm in a really good mood today. And honestly, I don't know why, but I would love to bottle up this energy because it's feeling good. What I would say, Victor, is if you ever want to try Lego Fortnite again, if you'd like, we could find a time to play together. and then I could like maybe try to walk you through some of the beginning things and help you understand, because I think what's missing from the game is a guide that tells you like how to get started. And because of that, it's such an open world vibe that it's too much to just figure out. And I quit pretty quickly with the game before going back into it, because I was like, I just don't get this. So it took me a couple months before I came back to it. But then when I came back to it, I was like, oh, okay, it's starting to make sense. And now I understand the mechanics of the game, and it makes it a lot easier to dive in and play and kind of pick up where I left off. So yeah. I haven't at this point played any games on my Switch with anyone other than Mario and Animal Crossing. With Animal Crossing, I have like 4 friends in the game and have occasionally gone over to each other's islands, but like it's always a planned date type thing. And then with Mario Kart, it's been 2 or 3 times playing with my nieces and nephews. And so that's it. So with like Fortnite, I haven't figured out how to, or I haven't tried gaming with other people in there. It's always just been kind of my own solo journey. And with, what was the other one? I can't remember the other one, but Fortnite and Lego Fortnite, I haven't played collaborative yet. So I'd be open to trying it. But yeah, that might be a way to kind of figure out some of those things. Work today, but we'll be building this set. Yay! And the Mando and Grogu. Ah, you got the speeder bike. Nice. That's really fun. I love that. I wanted to download Lego Fortnite on my iPad, but Fortnite alone is 10 gigs. Whoa. And the Lego version would need 10 more. No. Okay, that's disappointing. It's not surprising because the games have, like, it's such a vast open world that it must take so much memory for sure. But that's a bummer. I really, really enjoy it. The one thing that I wish now is that we had a Switch 2, just because there are games that are starting to come out that are only Switch 2 that I would love to have, starting with Batman. And Philip had said right after he got me it for Christmas, then we found out that the Switch 2 was coming out, and he said, if you want, we can return this and get you the Switch 2 instead, but you'll have to wait a few months. And I was already playing Animal Crossing and pretty far into it, and already had bought some games and stuff, which I thought were going to be obsolete right away with the Switch 2. I didn't realize they were going to be compatible. And so I was like, I'm just going to stick with this. It's fine. And now I'm like, what was I thinking? I should have just waited. So you sold your Switch 1 OLED. Oh, nice, to get the 2. So I just have a regular Switch 1, not the OLED. It's not the Lite either though. So it's like the original one. And the value now is like $70 for trade-in, which is not worth it to me. I feel like I'd rather keep it and play what I can on this one. So, and I say that now, but it's worth 70 now. It's probably going to be worth like 20 by the time I get around to feeling ready to sell mine. But I don't know. It just feels disappointing that the price drops so much as soon as a new one comes out. And I get it. I mean, I understand why for sure, but life is really hard, y'all. So. Ignoring my other large Star Wars backlog. Of course you are. Love it. Though it needs to be accessed this year. Yeah. Pokopia. Come on now. Like, that came out literally right as I got way into Pokemon the card game. And I was like, I'm going to love this so much, and that's not good. So maybe it's a blessing that I can't play it. We'll just say that. We'll just say that. I honestly, Pokopia has been a very strong challenger to Animal Crossing. I think that they did a fantastic job with their release and timing, and with the open world concept that they came up with, pulling a lot of ideas, I think, from what worked really well with Animal Crossing and got people hooked with it. And so many of my Animal Crossing friends, not that I have a ton, but like so many people that I feel like who I knew were playing it, that I watched online or learned like how different things work in Animal Crossing online have switched over to Pokopia almost entirely. And I'm like, no, don't leave me all alone on my island. I miss having friends here. Although, like I said, I only had like 1 or 2 people that I would actually go to their islands, and it was very rarely that I did. So it wasn't like a huge thing, but still, I'm like, I'm being left behind. Okay, this is great. This like S shape. Let me just zoom in for y'all. The way it's shaped differently on the bottom to that middle section is just chef's kiss. It's so perfect. And is going to make it so that it fits the shape of the Star Wars logo perfectly. A big fan. Very, very good job. And I know that if I got Pokopia, then I would probably also like spend a heck of a lot more time in that than I do in Animal Crossing. And so there's a piece of me that's like, no, keep updating Animal Crossing for me. Keep making it so that I can keep playing. And I honestly think, I wonder if they were to create a new Animal Crossing that was exclusive to Switch 2, if that would help them or hurt them. I kind of think it might hurt them. I actually think people really value what they've already created and built, and wouldn't necessarily want to start from scratch again. Although I know that I have friends who've done that with their Animal Crossing islands, and were like, it's really fun to kind of be starting over. So I know that there's some people who really enjoy it, but my hope is they don't do that because I don't want to be left behind. So, ooh, fun. So this is making the shape of the A. Y'all, this is exciting. Check this out. So this goes here, and this goes here. That is so fun. So that is using these new longer, not new in the last handful of years, longer cheese wedges sideways on a bracket. And then you put 2 together, and it makes that perfect little notch. So let's see. I've been pretty content with the first Switch. Then again, I'm still playing all the games I got with it originally. Yeah. You must be totally behind if you had to Google what Pokopia is. Yes, Zach, way behind. No, it only came out like a month and a half ago. But still, like I feel like that's the only thing I see now in my feed. I still really like my Switch. So I miss my old island. I spent over 999 hours and didn't realize when upgrading the Switch. No. Oh, that's sad. When you say upgrading, do you mean when you switched over to the new Switch 2? Or do you mean something else? Mostly I'm asking for my own fear of not wanting to lose any of my stuff if I like do an upgrade. But I think you mean like switching to the new one. So is that your entry for Poco? Yes, it is. Let me show you. I'll pull it forward to give you a closer look. I didn't make it the right dimensions, and so I think they may reject it, and that's because I didn't realize there were dimension requirements. So we'll see what happens. If they reject it, I may spend some time building out a much larger one because the scale that they have is massive. But yeah, here's my entry. It's Rowlet. I haven't posted about it yet because I was going to wait. Also, since some of y'all are doing the build challenge, look at the shaping of Rowlet. I used our build technique of the month. So I used that for him and also for Applin, which Applin's not listed as an option for the contest. So I am going to have to just have that for display for me for fun. But I'll show you that one as well. But I decided to wait on sharing anything on social until I knew what was happening with the Lego Ideas thing, so I could either tell people that it was accepted or tell people it wasn't, but it was just for fun. So we'll see. Did you end up doing one, JJ? I remember you talking about how I think you were planning to. So Victor says, I don't have Switch online. Oh, no, you had to have that to transfer. That's really annoying. If you don't have Switch online, I don't think that we could play together. How do you play Fortnite if you don't have Switch online? I thought you kind of had to. I mean, I guess not, but can you play games online with people if you don't? Oh, now you have a membership. Okay. Okay, so. All right, so it's coming together with more of this. This is really, really satisfying. The shaping is just so good. It is just so good, y'all. Also, whenever I put these tiles on, I always like to look for where the divot is. I'm sure you've heard me say this before, but I like to say it in case there's new people watching. So at the edge of this, you can very barely see, but there's like a dot right there. And that's where the machines hold the pieces when they're making them in the molds. And I like to have them so they're facing away from the build so that I don't have to see them because I find them to be really annoying. They, in particular, cause problems inside the light box. The light box really picks up on them. So Xbox used to require a gold subscription to play Fortnite. Now that's gross. The fact that everything is now a subscription model, like our doorbell, it's just wild to me. And when I worked in my tech company, I remember our CEO talking about how that's the direction everything is going and saying that that was the direction that we were also going as a company, was a subscription model for the software that we had as opposed to like people purchasing it outright. And I just remember thinking like, this is so weird that the example that he's giving is one that A, we experience all the time because it's our doorbell, and B, is true, but just disappointing to me that everything has to be set up that way. And I get it. So they don't anymore after Backlash. Good. I'm glad they got Backlash for that. That they should not require ridiculously high-priced things just to play a game. I don't know. I say all that, but I also spend the money on my own monthly plan and all that too. So, okay, inside here, this is fun. There's a little hidden story that's going on the inside here, and we've got, look at this beautiful little tiny not TIE fighter. Someone tell me the name of this ship because I know it, and its memory is failing me right now, but it's the big one. And this goes right on. Okay, cool. So this goes on this here. That's so cute. I love these little builds. And then I'm curious as to why we've got this little peach type thing there, but we'll see in a minute. And then another little ship. This is cute. And someone also tell me what this ship is, because this one is not crossing my mind what it's supposed to be, in full transparency with y'all. We all aren't sure. Okay. Star Destroyer. Yeah, I think the Star Destroyer is the gray one, right? What is this one? This is a moment where I'm like, I wish the instruction book said, this is what this ship is. Sometimes they do, but not this time. So it's cute though. It is cute. And I like we're building up walls around it. So thank you. Oh, that's the tangent. Oh, the front. Okay. This is since it's micro scale, teeny tiny. Now I'm seeing it with the rounded piece at the front because the front of the tantive looks to me like, I always think of like a fist, but yeah. So yeah, so nice. Okay, so that one's in here. And then when you look in from above, it's like it's being chased. That's fun. That's really cool. And I think this will be a compartment that you can lift off the top to see inside, which I love little hidden details like that. And I think that was one of the things that people complained about with the Marvel one, which we haven't built yet, but is in our backlog. That's one that I bought for Philip on a double points day. And it's just been sitting there. So the other day he was asking about it and I was like, well, it's in the backlog in my Lego room. So you can build it whenever you want to. So we'll probably build it together before the new movie comes out, of course. That'll be a good time to get around to that. But yeah, that one had a lot of complaints with not having as much. Bye, tell Missy hello. And that it's good to see you both. And tell her happy Star Wars Day if she celebrates. Actually, and even if she doesn't celebrate, tell her that I said that. All right, so we're building up some tiles and such for this part of the hidden little area that'll pop off. And I think that's just so that it only has a couple studs that it connects with. So this is fun. This is really fun, y'all. The Tantive 4 was the one that we built at Brooksops, Colorado, isn't it, Zach? Didn't we do the also not micro scale, but like the smaller version of that ship in that challenge, that contest? That was really fun. I think I remember that we let that one woman, I forgot her name right now, off the top of my head, but that one woman who was on our team take it home because she was really excited about it. And I was like, I don't need this, but it's fun. And I really enjoyed playing the game. So what movie from the Star Wars canon will people be watching tonight? Rogue One. Oh, I really love Rogue One. It's a good movie for sure. Now you make me want to watch that. So we probably after the feed, I might turn on Force Awakens. That honestly might be my favorite. I don't know if that's a controversial opinion. In my opinion, it's not a controversial opinion, but I really loved it, and it kind of reignited my love for this franchise. And it made me go from being a general fan to being like a much bigger fan, I think, of Star Wars. So, but I typically watch that around Star Wars Day. So if I don't watch it today, then maybe I'll watch it tomorrow. But we are on to Andor. So we're probably going to dive back into the series again and watch more of it tonight. So we were trying to catch up on it because we watched, I want to say it was like 6 episodes. And so last night, I think we watched episode 7 of season 1. But yeah, we haven't actually finished it. And there are 2 seasons. And it's so good and so relevant. So, all right. JJ, did you say that you were building a Pokemon? Y'all, it's so cool. Then you just imagine more words coming below it. That's so neat. This is very satisfying. Let's move this one. Okay, so yeah, so this is designed where right above the S, the T, whoops, you can pop that off and see the little hidden details on the inside. That's so cute. Good job. Okay, cool. So we'll set this one here. And basically what you're going to see as I build this is Wars Star because I'll be building it side by side. Okay, I need bag 4. Y'all, we got through that in an hour. Okay. So I think I am going to be opening up C-3PO, which we actually opened him up at Christmas time because we couldn't find our C-3PO minifig, and I always have them hidden in the Winter Village. And so we opened it up so that we could get one out. And I was like, Philip, just make sure that you put everything that was in that bag into the Ziploc so that I can put it back in and not have anything missing. So theoretically, it should still be ready to go, but we'll see. So let's see. The Empire Strikes Back will always be your number 1. I used to watch it constantly on VHS. Love that. It is a classic and not old. I agree. It's a classic. That's fun. I haven't not enough time, unfortunately, and I've seen loads of cards online already, and my building skills are not enough yet. That's okay. Your building skills are great, JJ. I will say 0 pressure to do one because it takes time, and I get, that it's not like something that you just, oh yeah, I'm going to whip something out right now and feel perfectly happy about it. But I would say as I went through all the pictures of them, I'm like, y'all, some of these are so good. I do not feel like mine is anywhere near as good. And also, I'm still glad I did mine. It's really fun. And I would say, for sure, I do think that your building skills are totally up to it, but 0 pressure. So I just remember we talked a little bit about it. So yeah, when I actually was trying to avoid looking at anybody's because I didn't want to be influenced by anybody else's builds. I wanted to do one on my own. And I also didn't want to be feeling imposter syndrome with it. And I felt like I might. So here I am chastising you for that. And I do the same thing. But yeah, after building my Rowlett I and finding out that I didn't do the dimensions right, I went through all of them to see how many other rowlets there were, um, just to see if I wanted to give a go at trying to rebuild it at a bigger scale or not. And I found there were very few. There were like maybe 10 total, which maybe that's not just a few, but like out of 350 or 400, that surprised me. And I think we all used kind of similar techniques, but I also think that we did them a little differently too. And I kind of liked that. It was fun to see like the range and variety. There were 2 people that did Rowlett that I was like blown away by what they did. So, there are some incredible builders in there for sure. So, but I also think that's part of how you get good is by competing alongside people who are better than you, and who have skills that you can learn from and grow from, as long as you're in a headspace of being okay with the fact that you don't win everything, and that's fine. I mean, that's something that I loved the most about Lego Masters was this opportunity to really just like be surrounded by greatness and be so impressed by everyone else's builds. And one of the things that I loved about that show was getting to run around the room after each challenge was over and look at what everybody else did, or like talk to each other during lunch breaks and be like, what are you making? Oh my gosh, that's so cool. We're really struggling with this part or whatever. And like people giving tips and hints to each other and like helping each other out. Like it was such a really cool community, but I felt like my skills grew exponentially because of that. So yeah. Imposter syndrome is real. It's so real. I keep changing my build, feeling that it's not enough. It is enough, Victor. It is enough. I will also say, tinker with it as much as you want to, though. So there's a lot that are really good. I agree. I think I'll do. If I do end up building one, I'd make one for a Pokemon that isn't on the list. Yes, I love that. Torchic. Yes, Torchic would be so cute. And I think honestly, that's really fun. And like my Applin build, it came together kind of by mistake. Like I wasn't intentionally planning to build a Pokemon build that day. I was just wanting to play around with our build technique and see what could come from it. And as it was coming together, I thought this shape is starting to look like an apple. And then I thought, let's make this look like an apple just for the fun of it. And as I started to pull the apple together, I was like, wait a minute. I can do this as Applin, and that'll be perfect for the Pokemon Challenge. And then I built the entire thing out and went to submit it, and that's when I found out that I couldn't use Applin. I was like, what? Who made these rules? This is stupid. So that's when I pivoted and did Rowlet instead, actually. So, and I was thinking as I was doing Applin, I don't think anybody's going to build Applin. No one knows this, which makes sense. And I also thought, like, because no one knows this, it's highly unlikely that it would even be considered to become a real set, which is not why I was doing the challenge in the first place. It was more just for the fun of it. But I was like, that even makes me feel even better about building something that's just for me and just for fun. And then now that it's Rowlet, I'm like, wait, I do want it to become a real set. Now that I know that there's a possibility, even though mine's not the right scale, so there's no possibility. So, did the Lego group present the Animal Crossing Timmy and Tommy set during Fan Media Days? No. They didn't show us anything about Animal Crossing, and I was really disappointed because I really wanted to see what was coming this year. But yeah, they kept all of that a secret. We didn't see that. We didn't see Pokemon. We didn't see the Paris architecture set. We didn't see a lot of the Star Wars wave. We actually only saw a few things. There was actually a select group of people that got to see the May the 4th releases, but they didn't do a big reveal for all of us. It was only for those people. And they're like Star Wars fan media creators, like that's their core. So it made sense that they got to do that. And we also didn't get to see, there was one other, we got to see the Jeep, but we didn't get to see the Triceratops. So all of those were news to us, which was so fun, actually. I kind of love that there's still so much that we didn't see. So, oh my gosh, Piplup would be so cute. Agreed. That would be a really fun one. Honestly, there's so many adorable ones that I'm like, I would love to just do an entire series on just the adorable ones. Although my Applin looks pretty terrifying. The Applin in the game in TCG is adorable. Mine is fierce and terrifying for sure. So it's, oh, I got it. Mine actually, I was looking at it later and I was like, you know, this might even be a little bit better for Diplin, which is the first evolution from Applin, because that's when he starts to get like bare his teeth a little bit more. But also for anybody who's not a Pokemon fan, you're probably like, what are you talking about? So, but it's fun. It's all fun. I will share my Applin and Diplin builds though, with more detail and stuff. I'm just waiting to see what happens with the challenge first. So, all right, now we're getting the beginning of the last S. Let's see, what else do we have to the loop? Whenever I go to my local card shop, I always pick up a handful of cube bulk cards. Right? It's because they're so adorable. Like, it's hard not to. Do y'all have any favorite Pokemon? Y'all, you got me talking about Pokemon again instead of Star Wars. It was Star Wars Day. That's supposed to be the topic. I love, honestly, truthfully, Rowlet was an early favorite of mine. I love reading, and I always associate owls with reading, and with school, and and all that. And since I worked in education for so long, I just have a fond spot for owls. And so Rowlet was an early one that I loved, and that whole evolution is really cool and has some really awesome attacks, which make it a lot of fun to play in as a deck. And so that's one that I love. And then I also love Jinx. In my head, she is modeled after Jinx Monsoon, but I don't know if that's true. Who's an incredible drag queen that we love. So, and also Broadway star. She's like multifaceted and has done incredible things in her life. I'm so impressed with her and everything she's done. But yeah. Oh, Totodile. Yes. Good choices for sure. Raises his hand. Yep. Have no idea what you're saying, talking about. Sorry, Zach. That's funny. But I'm glad you're still here. That's the thing. You still come and enjoy the chat and like engage and have fun. And that's what I appreciate. We don't have to be raving fans about everything all the time, right? I was actually, y'all, I ran into Emma Soros and Mr. Soros today at the Lego store. So I ran down there for May the 4th stuff, realizing, which I kind of realized before I went, but I was like, I know they did a lot of activities and at Bricks and Minifigs over the weekend. And that would have been a better time to go for like May the 4th fun, or Star Wars weekend, I guess, fun. But I still ran down there and had a good time seeing people. And yeah, I ran into Emmeline Ross, and it was so nice to chat with them. They're great. They're so friendly. And yeah, we caught up. It had been a very long time since we caught up. So that was nice. But while we were there, we were talking about, just about like how Lego has pulled me into gaming again. And it was something I didn't really think as much about as an adult, but now it's a big part of how I spend my time, and I really enjoy it. And how it's also made me a fan of different franchises that like I didn't really think about before, or just wasn't really a fan of before, and how that's a good thing, but how sometimes that gets people get dragged for that, and how in some ways people have gotten dragged for liking Pokemon now that Lego has a partnership, or now that it's like in the mainstream again. But it's also been in the mainstream forever. It is the largest franchise in the world. And so gatekeeping that franchise seems so silly and dumb to me. And like we were talking about how, things like Lego can get you exposed to and interested in something that you didn't before. And the same goes for like Funko Pop and all kinds of collectibles, right? And so, yeah, we were just chatting a little bit about that because I was saying, I asked if they play Pokemon, and then we were talking about like our experiences reviewing it and whatnot too. And I was telling them like how I've gotten so much into the game now, and how that was just like a new fun thing too. And then we found out too, just through chatting, that Ross and I both play a lot of similar games. And I was like, oh, we should game together. That's fun. So it was good. It was nice to see them. They're very, very good people. So Emily gave me an Up House thanks to winning a Twitch giveaway. Okay, so cool. Also, the Up House is a great set. So that's a wonderful win. And then you said Torchic. It's hard to say to me. Torchic, that was my starter in one of the video games. But Minchino, yes, Minchino is so cute. Azrael, I like playing the evolution of Azrael in the card game. Minin and Plusle are cool / cute too. Nice. Yes, agreed. Agreed on all fronts. Yeah, we were actually, as we were chatting about Pokemon, I said, I've never really watched the movies or series or anything. And I tried to watch the series and was just like, this is not for me. And one thing Ross shared that actually makes a lot of sense to me is he said Pokemon has actually not done a great job kind of cultivating and connecting with their adult fan audience, and how they could probably do a better job of that if they made some additional media that was focused on adults. And I actually think that's very true. And I think that that's what we've seen with Lego, that once Lego really embraced the fact that adults can be a part of their fan community as well, it resulted in sets like this one that I'm building right now. Like, I don't think they would have done this if they were still only focused on being a kid-focused brand. And so, I think that's been really fun to see. And Ross made such a smart point with that too. But he did recommend that I go back and watch the movie that was in movie theaters when I was a kid, that I didn't, or when I worked there in my youth, that I didn't see, but I saw like bits and pieces of during my breaks at work. And he said that it's actually pretty emotional and that I'll probably really enjoy it. So I'm taking him up on that, and it's on my list of things to watch. So if anybody else has any other things to watch, let me know. Going back to Zach's question, and I think I asked this too, which of the TV series for Star Wars have you all liked and gotten really excited about? So, oh yay, JJ also said back to Star Wars. So, I've never watched it. Really? What should I start with? Ooh, let's help JJ get connected. Could I start with one of the newer films? I want to be prepared so that I can watch Ryan Gosling one that releases next year. Great question. Brandon says start with the original trilogy, then go to the prequels after episode. Is that 5? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, right? 3, 4, 5. Right, because the first one was 4, 5, and 6. Oh, so you're saying do 4 and 5 and then do the prequels? Okay, so the original is the first one that was a movie, not the first in chronological order, was episode 4, A New Hope. And that's the one that a lot of people see as like your required starting one. I would say that the original trilogy, 4, 5, and 6, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi are fantastic films, and give you a good sense of the whole world of Star Wars. I would also say that The Force Awakens, which is technically episode 7, that trilogy, 7, 8, and 9, is really good. I think that that is a very nice way to start the franchise because they were very intentional to write the story in a way that would be introducing new fans to Star Wars. So my argument that I'm sure many will hate and disagree with is that starting with The Force Awakens and moving through those 3, or at least starting with Force Awakens, gives you a better sense of kind of where the movies are going, and kind of the vibe of the current generation of them. And then I would say episodes 4, 5, and 6, because those are critical to the story and lore and everything. So if you, whatever you do, please tell us which order you go and what ones you wanted to watch. It does sound complicated, but it's not, I promise. I promise. It's really not. I love that it didn't stop. Yeah. Some people hate after 6. After 7 is the Mandiverse. Yeah, that's like the whole Mandalorian stuff. The Clone Wars and Rebels and Bad Batch, those are all cartoon shows that actually are fun. I really do enjoy them. However, they are long. There's a lot to them. So I wouldn't personally start with them. I think that's too much. I would start with one film, and I would say Force Awakens. And then if you like it, then I would say either go backwards in time and do 4, 5, and 6, the original trilogy. That's my answer. But I see other answers in the chat. So. Brandon is giving you the list of everything and the order to do everything. So, but yes, that is very important and true point, Justin. It took me a while to acknowledge that, but you're completely correct. Oh yeah, it just they're just really long. I don't know if you're talking about the cartoons or if you're talking about Force Awakens. I loved Force Awakens. I really did, and I felt like I loosely remember the story of Star Wars, but the Force Awakens made me want to go back and rewatch them. And I felt like you could start with Force Awakens without having seen the others and still be okay. So that's my thought, is start with that one. So yeah, lots of answers. You didn't know what you were getting with that question, did you? Also, I am someone who some would say like became a fan later than like some of the people who watched the original trilogy when it was first in theaters back in the 70s and 80s and such. I did see all the films 1 through 6 when they were in the theater that I worked at. But truthfully, my love of Star Wars happened much more so as a result of Force Awakens. That brought me back into it in a way that made me more excited about it than before. So some would say that's fine. Some would say that I'm a poser and don't belong in this community. None of y'all would say that though, because you're good people. And I always say the more the merrier. Everyone should be welcome in any fandom. I don't understand why people get so upset about that. But I also, my focus is on wanting to include more people. So let's see. Oh, lots of great questions. Now, I just got to find out where I can watch everything time-wise. How old are The Force Awakens and the original trilogy? 2015 was Force Awakens, and the original trilogy was like 70s and 80s. But there's newer versions that released in 95 or 96, 97, I think. Could I still find the DVDs somewhere? Is that too long ago? You probably could for all of them, I would think, actually. Stefan says, watch the movies, then deep dive into the TV series and animated series for more lore. I agree. Hold off on the TV series stuff first, because there's so much more there and it's confusing. Brandon says, I watched the sequel trilogy and Rogue One and Solo in theaters. Yes, so fun. The sequel trilogy, that's what Force Awakens is, right? That's what you would say? That's the beginning of the sequel trilogy. I watched all of those in theaters too and loved them. A lot changed when George Lucas stepped out, in my opinion. I had been a fan since I was younger, and as I got older, definitely changed. It has changed and shifted quite a bit. When they originally released, basically every movie has a Blu-ray or DVD, but if you want to save money, get Disney Plus. Yes, if you have Disney Plus, which I think is offered in Germany, question mark. That would be the best and easiest way. Even if you do it for a month and watch 3 or 4 movies that month, you definitely pay off the price for it for sure. So there might be like discount codes and stuff. If so, I can look and see if we have anything. I don't know if we have a discount code that we could pass on, but I can check and see. And if you'll DM me on Instagram to remind me, I can look and see if we've got a code for that. So. But yeah, Disney Plus has all of them on there. So at least in the United States. And I know that from country to country, they have different things, but I would assume all the Star Wars content would still be there. So every movie has a yep. Mandalorian has a Blu-ray release for the first 3 seasons as well. Really? I guess that's not surprising. That makes sense. The Mandalorian is a wonderful series. I also think that's great, but I would say that if you start with that, it's too confusing and doesn't really give you what you need to know about Star Wars because it's kind of its own. It is rooted in and connected to all of it, but it's like its own storyline that you follow. So all of the TV series arguably are like a little too niche for beginning, in my opinion. And when you get started, just be careful not to say Baby Yoda. because the mean bros will get really mad at you that that's not his name. His name's Grogu. It's not Baby Yoda. I thought that was so funny when that movie came out or that show came out and people were saying Baby Yoda, and then there was like this huge vitriol being spewed at people for saying that. I'm like, y'all, calm down. We're okay. We're gonna be fine. The new Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy is super fun. It is. I actually really enjoy it. I really, really enjoy it for sure. So, um, ultimately agree with you. Everyone's allowed what you like. Oh yeah, everyone is allowed to like what they like. I like a lot of the older Star Wars stuff, and just realizing some of these new movies storylines just aren't for you. That's totally fair. Also, like I think that's perfectly fine. Brandon also says if you want a humorous take, there's a Lego Star Wars specials and miniseries. Those are all really fun and very silly, and I would say that those are great for any time. Like I don't think you need to know too much about the depth of Star Wars to get the humor in them. They're very silly, but the more that you know about Star Wars, the funnier the jokes are in that. So, I would say that it's still worth kind of watching eventually, or it's still helpful to watch and have a better sense of the whole Star Wars franchise. It adds more to the jokes. So, but they're silly. They're really funny. And a lot of times it also plays on like some of the actors that play the roles and like some characteristics from different characters and whatever. So lots of silly jokes and things. There's also a fantastic Lego set that came about as a result of one of the Life Day, I think, one of the Life Day stories. That's like a Thanksgiving type model that has wonderful Christmas jumpers for the minifigures. And I like that one and having that one displayed at like Thanksgiving and Christmas time. So, and that was off one of the like side series, like silly ones. So another humorous take with mature content is the Family Guy Laugh It Up Fuzzball trilogy. Oh, I bet that's super funny. Their humor is ridiculous and I love it. We don't watch too much of it, but every episode I've ever watched Family Guy, I've been like, this is ridiculous, and I think it's so silly. So, y'all, if I remember correctly, another favorite memory I have with Star Wars was going to see The Force Awakens with Philip and his dad. And I'm trying to think of who else was with us. It might have been his dad and his mom. I'm pretty sure actually the four of us went together. Maybe Marianne and her parents were there too. I can't fully remember now all the people, but I just remember that moment and it just being like a really fun time. I want to say we watched it on Christmas. I'm going to need to ask Philip now. But that was like my initial like reconnection with the franchise and all that. But also it was just fun to share with my in-laws. Now Star Wars plus the holidays equals Lego, right? They've done such a good job with branding it all in a way that like it's synonymous. And I think a lot of that too is like you think about the what are they called? The advent calendars and how that is now so many people buy the Star Wars Advent every year, and it's like just a part of their holiday season. And it's funny because to me, like that's associated with the holidays too. So, last couple Advent calendars, they had such minifigs, have had such fun minifigs. Yeah, they've done a really good job with those. Dick, if you're online, so Dick is my father-in-law. If you're online, did you see Force Awakens with me? Did we all see it together? I think we did. I feel like we saw it at Regal, but I can't remember now. And I was like thinking about how that was such a cool memory. And then I was like, wait, is it a cool memory if I don't remember it correctly? But I'm pretty sure we all saw it together. I don't know if he's watching this time, so I know that they've got a lot going on. But yeah, if you are, I'd love to know if you want to drop in the chat and let us know if we all saw it together. This is a sad memory, but I remember watching the second of that second trilogy. So I guess this would be movie 8. So it's Force Awakens, The last one was Rise of Skywalker. What? Oh my gosh. I just was listing them off earlier and I had them all, and it's my brain's doing that thing again. The Last Jedi. That was there we yes, The Last Jedi. Thank you. Thanks for the assist. We watched The Last Jedi, and as we got into the theater, we got a text message about Princess Leia passing, and it was so sad. And then the movie started, and we watched the whole movie, and it was just like, oh, this is now a tribute to her in a way that I wasn't expecting it to be, and it just was a really, really heartfelt moment. Carrie Fisher is incredible. Oh. Also, if you want to bring on the hate from people in the Star Wars community, tell them that you loved The Last Jedi. Truthfully, I loved The Last Jedi. I really enjoyed it. Do I think it was a perfect film? No. Do I think anything film is perfect? Very few. But I did. I really enjoyed it. And there are so many people who despise that film. And the next one, actually. The last two got a lot of hate, but they also got a lot of love. And I just think it's so funny that like some people are real mad, big mad about it. My wife, who's also a big Star Wars fan, knitted a Star Wars beanie for me for each of the new movies. That's so cool. I need to see those, Stefan. Will you share them in either in our, it'd be great if you can in the Discord if you're in there. And if not, share them with me on Instagram because I want to see. That's cool. Trying to see if I missed anything else. The internet is crazy. I just got an ad for my laptop for the new Mandalorian film, and I've never had that before. I'm being watched. We're all being watched for sure. And honestly, I think it's funny because since you watch my live streams, and my live streams play off of whatever I'm building from Lego, and that sometimes is stuff that like maybe I haven't seen in a long time. So it's me revisiting some things. We're all going to get the same types of ads probably from all of this too, which is like, both funny and also really annoying. So sorry if anybody is overwhelmed with Pokemon content now because of me. I know that I am, but also like they got me hooked. They were successful. They did what they wanted to do. So you'll post them tomorrow. Awesome, thank you. That's really fun. I'm sorry about the ads. That's really funny. I also love saying that when my husband works in advertising. I love to tease him about that too. So he does really cool work, y'all. He's got a really neat thing that's gonna share tomorrow, and I can't talk about it, but it's so cool. And after it's tomorrow and it's shared, then I can share more with you. Which actually, yeah, I'll share more with you later, but it's neat. And I'm really proud of him. He's done an incredible job with some really cool things lately. So he's just rocking it at work. I do. It is fun to complain about ads around him, though. So he's not like an ad creative, so he doesn't actually write the ads, but he helps figure out like who needs to be reached with the ads and like what type of messaging might reach them and that kind of stuff. It's really fascinating stuff. Did I miss something? I think I did. I did miss something. When did those go on? Wait, no, I didn't. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, no. I didn't miss it. I was just misreading this. It's because I'm doing it backwards and mirror image to y'all. So I'll pray for you, Justin, for liking that movie. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate your prayers. Yes, bless you. Yeah, some people are big mad about it, which I think is funny. So let's see, what else do we have? Well, better than all the other ads. Yes, that is true. That is very true. So yeah, no, his work is actually really fun. He has worked for some really cool companies. So he used to work for an ad agency, in which case he had other clients and or all different clients. And the clients that they always worked with were purpose-driven companies that cared deeply about what they did and their impact on the world, which is great because that meant that the ads that he was producing were for some really great companies. And it also gave me insight to companies that I didn't realize were as cool as they are. So like Popeyes, I didn't really think much about. We didn't really have Popeyes growing up. I mean, I think it might have been in our neighborhood or in our city, but it just wasn't a place that we visited. And they are the leaders of that company focus heavily on servant leadership. And they did a lot of really neat things at their annual franchisee events that Philip was able to go to as a result of the work he was doing. And it was just really neat to learn more about the leadership of the company and gave me a deeper appreciation for them. Actually, gave me an appreciation for them in the first place because I didn't really have any sense of who they were. But that was one. He worked with AARP, which was interesting. He worked with Hallmark, but the version of Hallmark that he worked with was the one that's specifically focused on like Walgreens and CVS and places like that, which is fun because our friends Bev and Missy, who join here for most live streams, they actually work with Hallmark as well, replacing the cards in the stores. And so like some of the ads that happen inside the stores, which you may not be aware, but like if you're walking through a store and you see something like printed on the ground in front of the cards that tells you about a deal or a special or something that's happening or reminds you about Mother's Day or whatever, those are ads technically. And someone has to plan and think about some of those things. So that was like part of the work that he was pseudo involved with a little bit too, and just interesting stuff. He worked with BMW on a really neat campaign, just some really cool things. And now he works in-house at Indeed, and they're actually a really good company too. So it was nice for him to go to a company that for the longest time was a leader in DEI work and doing some really good things. So yeah. It's neat to see that he works for a company too that helps people find work and be able to find work in a way that is at a place that has a good culture, that the pay is fair. Like they really do a lot of good work to help educate other companies on equity and making sure that what they're doing is fair. And like a lot of people don't think about some of that stuff because you think of as Indeed as a place where like you go to fill out your information to get a job, but they actually do a lot of back end on the side with companies too. So let's see. You've been seeing ads for the movie for a month. Yep. Or for over a month. Same. I see them nonstop. Yeah. There are so many ads on Star Wars. Yep. And some that play, yeah. Whenever it plays back to back too, it's usually not supposed to play where it's like twice in a row. They have what they call frequency caps, and that's the cap on the frequency in which you'll see an ad during a specific TV show or movie or whatever. And it's that kind of stuff that I learned from Philip's work that I'm like, this is so interesting to me. Like, I never really thought about that, but of course you wouldn't want people to be inundated with your ad because after you've seen a preview for something, or maybe not a preview, maybe that's a bad example, but after you see an ad for a company 3 times in a row, you start to hate that company because you're like, oh my God, this ad again, right? And so that's why frequency caps matter. And when businesses say they have them and they don't commit to actually upholding their commitment to that frequency cap, it can really affect your business. So yeah, anyway, rambling fun for y'all for today. I haven't had a rant today, so I can't really say that I was ranting, but Indeed, we have multiple different ads over here that all say Ingrid Eckhart Indeed, which translates to Ingrid explains Indeed, and it's everywhere. Really? Ah, okay, I need to know more. Also, who's Ingrid? Tell me more about this Ingrid person. I want to ask Philip about it because maybe he knows what that is. So his work has shifted away from some of the traditional ad stuff that he did with his agency. He works now with what's called brand advertising. And so that's where it's like getting awareness about the brand out to people so that they think to use Indeed when they're job searching. And some of that is like getting awareness about the brand, but also it could be getting awareness about like some of the products that they have for job seekers or some of the products they have for employers and that kind of stuff too. So it's interesting stuff. Like there's a Mando and Grogu string cheese ad, and then next it's the Burger King collab. Blah, it's too much, y'all, too much. This is what that person was saying in the Lego Builders thing, who was mad about it and was like, "I hate it. Why did they run this thing I loved so much?" I'm not making fun of him per se. It's just I think it's interesting when people get like super upset about stuff like that. Burger King's first Star Wars collaboration since 2005. Wow, that's impressive. Okay, JJ says it works like this. Person A is not happy with their job or something, and then Ingrid shows up holding a phone with the Indeed logo up to person A, and then the Ingrid explains Indeed jingle starts. That's so fun. Okay, that's really interesting. I'm gonna have to ask Philip about it. That's cool. Is Ingrid like a actual known character or person there, or is that just a character that they made for the commercial, like a fake person they made for the commercial? That's really interesting, though. Ingrid explains Indeed. He might be like, if I tell him, he might be like, how do you know about that? Like, because it could be something he's already aware of, or because it's with a specific country market, he may not have as much visibility on it. I don't know. All right. This is so interesting. Like that. Oh, okay, I just want to show you. So we've got this little section here that we built. We have those studs going up and studs going down here and the flat area here. Over here, we've got studs from the bracket sideways. And then you can see there's like basically this groove between the R that's going to slide down and then connect perfectly right there. That's so good. This is so good. More star. Nice. I think it's just a person for the ads, but I don't know many celebrities, so you might be wrong. I'll ask Philip too, if he knows. So this is fun. Also, I might stream again on Wednesday. And if I do, I'll probably continue C-3PO just because I don't anticipate that I'll be done with him today. So curious if y'all wanted to come back on for another day of this fun. And if so, how do you feel about Wednesday for my regular Wednesdays stream? That's my current thought, though. I've been debating adding in other streaming times that are at different times of the day because we have this awesome group here that always shows, which is wonderful. Y'all are so dedicated and supportive, which is great. But I have a lot of people who've been telling me, I can't ever make your feeds because it's during my workday. So I've been trying to figure out what to do there and whether or not I want to add more time in for some streams elsewhere. So curious from y'all if you have a time that would work better for you than this time during the middle of the day. I mean, obviously, since many of you are here each week at this time, it seems like it's working, but you know. Personally won't be able to join for a long time on Wednesdays, but I'll try to say hi anyway. Totally fair. Yeah. I appreciate that. And I'm glad you're here. I was really excited to see you here today because I know that you've been kind of busy around time. 11:30 a.m. Pacific works well for you. Okay, cool. That's good to know. That's like 1:30 our time, I think. So yeah, that's about my time. R's star. I am very excited to have this up. So back in the day, prior to them having this set available, I remember one of my lugmates went to the Lego store to help them build the Star Wars logo out of Lego. And they built a really big one for the store window. And I just thought, oh, that's so cool. That would be so fun to have. But also it's too big. I don't think I would ever really have room for it. So when the set came out, I was like, yes, perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. So it also came out after I'd done my letters for Playwell, this one up above me. And so I was already in the headspace of really enjoying practicing building different fonts and things and thought this will be another great way to kind of learn some new build techniques. So it's interesting that Star Wars, S, A, and R are the same in both. Like the build techniques are going to be very similar for both of them in both words. So obviously a little different because the R has the jut off, whereas in the other one, it's the S having the jut off on top. But, you know, still. What I enjoy is that your streams are on YouTube, which means I can stream them later in my leisure, though being a night owl, nighttime streams could be a nice option. Thanks, Zach. And I'm glad that that you found value in watching these later. It always surprises me when people want to do that and commit to doing that, because it's just a lot of time out of your life, but also I guess it's a lot of time out of your life if you watch live too. And when you're streaming it back afterward, you technically could go at a faster pace. Although I already talk fast enough, so that might be hard to listen to for people. Hi, Bev. Welcome back. And welcome, Missy, if she's joining us. We'll see. But yeah, I've thought about maybe doing one evening. The challenge too is that like I really do enjoy spending my evenings with Philip, and so you know, that has led me to want to try and find times that work during the day when he's at work as well. And then sometimes we'll do like review sets in the evening together, and that's usually when we're watching a movie. Yeah, we started The Jeep. Oh, it's so good. It is so good. We watched all of the first Jurassic Park movie with it, which we've seen countless times. It is both of our favorite movies. Yay! Welcome, Missy. Happy Star Wars Day. If your mom didn't pass that on to you, she was supposed to. So, I'm curious what your memories are of Star Wars. Do you have any fun memories of Star Wars, Missy? And anybody else who's joined since then? She did. Good. Good for you. Thank you, Bev. I appreciate y'all so much. You're so fun. But I really do love streaming. Like, y'all have been so fun to connect with all this time, and I so appreciate that you join so frequently. It's been a gift for me to get to have y'all here, so it makes it a lot of fun. So thank you, y'all. This is so cool. I keep looking at the reflection of it back in the camera. It's such a neat set. I'm really impressed by this. All right, I think we might have another hidden pocket in this side, or hidden compartment. It's probably a better way to say that. Not exactly sure though. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the only one is the one with the Tantive and Star Destroyer. So I never watched Star Wars, only seen clips and maybe like 15 minutes of one of the sequels. Okay. My memory worked for 15 minutes. Yay, Bev. That's fun. Missy, you're not alone. JJ was asking about like if he wanted to start watching Star Wars, where to begin, which is one of the most complicated questions, because it's an easy question, but there's a complicated series of answers that he got thrown at him real quickly. So there's a lot to have to navigate if you're wanting to get started with this franchise. But it's fun. I love it. I really think it's a lot of a really enjoyable series of stories, and there's a lot of really cool life lessons that come from it, and I think it's a lot of fun. But I also know that it's not for everyone, and that's also fair too. So all right. So we're working on the W. Let's see, it's 3:49. Okay, y'all. We did this in 2 hours, which is helpful for me. Someone was asking me the other day, how long did it take you to do a specific set? And it was just a botanical set. And this is someone who I know through Leadership Austin, who doesn't build Lego. So it's not her thing. And so I was just thinking through, and I was like, well, I built this while I watched a TV show with Philip. And she was like, you were watching something and super distracted while you were building it? It's like, well, yeah, but like I do this all the time, so it kind of comes naturally. But I couldn't actually tell her how long it takes, because I've never timed myself. I've never really officially thought through, this is the amount of time this is actually taking me. And then it kind of overwhelmed me when I started to think about it too deeply, because I was like, oh my gosh, how much time do I spend doing this? Like, it's a lot. It really is a lot. But it's fun, and I really enjoy it. And, so much of the why behind why I do it is, community building and friends and such. And so, there's a lot that comes from it. But yeah, it was an interesting question to get because I hadn't really ever thought about it. So let's see. When we go to Lego conventions, oh wait, did I do that wrong? Oh no, I did that right. Yes. When we go to Lego conventions, there's typically a Star Wars section of Lego builds. And that's just because there are so many builders in Star Wars as a theme. And one of the things I've loved is I have a Princess Leia doll that was modeled. I modeled her after the Wicked dolls from the buildable Wicked sets from the first movie. And it's just so fun to have her on display because it's so different than what everyone else brings to the Star Wars tables. And it's like cutesy and just, I love it. It's honestly, I've never had anybody have a negative reception to it, but I've always wondered because typically I set it up in the Star Wars area and then I walk away and set up my other stuff. And then I don't stand by it because I stand by my other builds that are related to Lego Masters or Wicked or whatever, things that like people want to talk with me about more. And it's just so funny because yeah, I just wonder, like, the people who stand by their Star Wars builds the whole time and they see mine, what's their thought on it? Do they think it's ridiculous? Do they like it? Do they hate it? Are they indifferent to it? Maybe. But I kind of want to do more of a series of those, which maybe I need to do the character that Laura Dern played in the sequel or in The Last Jedi. That would be fun to really make people angry. So fun fact there, oh, thank you, Missy. I'll have to show you up close. We were talking about it earlier in the chat, and so I pulled it forward for a few people to see, but I'm really pleased with how it turned out. It doesn't meet all the requirements of the challenge for the Lego Ideas Challenge, which makes me sad, but I still had a blast building it. And it's what I'm using for my build challenge this month. So for my build prompt, because I use the same technique that we learned this week. So anyway, back when The Last Jedi came out, I had just finished reading the Star Wars book about Princess Leia. And you actually meet the character that Laura Dern plays, and you get to know a lot more about her. And there's a lot of depth to her. So it was really interesting. Okay, you know how I thought there'd be a little window in here? How silly of me, because this is underneath. Like, this deck's on top. There's no way that they would have a trapdoor hidden thing in here. So we're going to do this here. Put this on top. Sandwich them together. And there we have it. Y'all, it's so good. It's so good. I'm so impressed. Like, this is just, oh, there's a dog here. Just a moment. This is just beautiful. Like, the depth within. And when you look close, like, look closely at the black pieces, there's little elements of greebling hidden in there to kind of mimic the black greebling that they do on the back of or on the edges of the Star Wars boxes. This is so cool. I'm very happy with this. And just to show you, because I know a few of you just came late, in here there's a hidden little box, and in there we've got the Star Destroyer chasing the Tantive 4. So really, really well done. Thank you all for the assist on my memory with all of this. This has been fun. I'm going to get some coffee, and then I'm going to open up C-3PO if anybody wants to stick around and we can do some more. So while I'm getting my coffee, what question should we ask? What was your first Lego Star Wars set, if you had one? And or is there a Lego Star Wars set that you really want? Either one from the past or one from now. So answer that question. What was your first Lego Star Wars set? Or is there one that you want now while I make my coffee? my first Lego Star Wars set was on Valentine's Day in 2015, I think. Philip bought me the Rey on her speeder from The Force Awakens as a Valentine's gift. And I say that's my first set because I think I might have had like some poly bags before then, or I might have had some, I don't think I had an advent at that time. I feel like that honestly was the first Lego Star Wars set I got. So mine was with a badass female, so. And then the first big Lego set that I bought myself was a Star Wars one, actually. And it was, oh, I need a coaster. It was the black and orange X-Wing that our buddy Poe Dameron drives, or flies, not drives, with BB-8. And I remember getting that one and being so excited because it was a big purchase and felt like a big deal to me at the time. And I just found Rey's speeder tucked away in this box and pulled it out and was like, I need to find all the pieces and put it all back together because some of them had fallen off. And then there's some minifigures and stuff that came that have gotten mixed in with our minifig stuff. So I want to track down the original Rey and get her out so that that one can be on display with my other Star Wars stuff. We have a ton of Star Wars builds now. I'm trying to think through. We've got we've got the droids that you see here. We've got I actually want the new R2D2 one that's the right scale to go with C-3PO, but I have this other one that's from the Mindstorms droids that's a little bit smaller in scale. So I'd like the regular one. I kind of want the new BB-8 one because it's the right scale with them as well, but I love this BB-8 one. That was a special one to me as well. I think Philip got that for me for Christmas. After I got my X-Wing, I got a TIE Fighter to go against it. And I have the Millennium Falcon, the micro Millennium, the like MIDI-sized Millennium Falcon. I built that one last year on Star Wars Day, I think. I have a few others from Force Awakens. There was one that was like the place that they go to where they meet Maz. Maz? Is that her name? Oh my goodness. My brain is confusing me. Okay, let me pull over C-3PO. Oh, and I also have a ton of brickheads. I would say that brickheads dominate our Star Wars collection. Or Star Wars dominates our brickheads collection. That's probably a better way to say that. Okay, I'm going to move these little guys, which I did a couple weeks ago, down here. So we can open up C-3PO. Yay! All right, let's read some of your answers. Bye, Stefan. We'll go out and watch some of the new mall show. Nice. Philip said it was really good. That we need to watch it. He heard it was really good. Can't wait to build this tonight. Oh, the Star Wars logo. Yes, I knew that you were going to today, which makes me happy. Missy says, I got a Star Wars sketch. It was a small yellow ship with R2D2, and I think it had Anakin. Okay, I know exactly which one it is. The pod racer, I would assume. And that's a really fun one. I actually have a bin of Lego that I got from a friend who bought them off of some family, and it has the pod racers from that set, but it doesn't have the minifigs. And so I want to go back through and rebuild all the pieces in it to see the full things there. Oh, Bev says I have Ahsoka Tano's duel on Pridia. I don't remember how I acquired it. I'm guessing TextLeg would be my guess. JJ, I only have one Star Wars minifig, which I once found on a playground in the sand. Okay, that's cool. Highlighted that day. I'm so stoked. I love that. Now I'd take any Grogu set because he is so cute. I would say he. I think that's accurate, right? Y'all? Brickheads would be cool. Yes, the brickheads are actually really good. And then, oh, hi, Paul. Paul Tsui, good to see you. Let's see. First was the Millennium Falcon from ESB. And my dream set is the UCS Millennium Falcon. I mean, that would be really fun to build. I have no place to put it. So Maz Kanata, thank you. I knew I got her name close. And then Zach says, mine was the Naboo Swamp, which came out in 1999. Okay, you win for oldest one, I think. I'm pretty sure. That's really cool. That's really fun. So let me tell you the reason we're building C-3PO, because I think this is super fun. So obviously I love the droids, which is, you know, I've got that collection over there of the 3, which I need to move the other ones so you can see them. But long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I was on a TV show called Lego Masters. And our first episode was a Star Wars challenge, which was so fun. And I don't even know that you can see that droid, but that's okay. In our Star Wars challenge, John and I built a planet. It was for Rebuild the Galaxy. We built a planet that was an R2D2/C-3PO type planet. And in the episode, John asked me, between R2D2 and C-3PO, which one do I think I'm more like? And I said, I would say C-3PO. And he said he would say R2D2. And I just thought it was so fun and silly. And I'd never had a buildable. Actually, I don't think they had made a buildable C-3PO yet at that point. And so, oh, there's a bag stuck at the bottom. So yeah, so I had to have this buildable C-3PO so it can go on my shelf with all my Lego Masters stuff. So this is actually a tribute to my time on the show and to my love of John, who's such a wonderful friend. And we had a blast on that show and an incredible experience together. So this has been sitting in my backlog because I requested it from Lego last year after it came out and once our show was on. And I've just been waiting for the right moment to buy it or to build it, and that's today. So thank you for joining me on this silly nostalgia, which is fun. So JJ Zach, that set gives off Minecraft vibes if you take away the minifigs and replace them with Minecraft ones. Ooh, fun. I now need to look that one up. Zach, will you do me a favor and send me the set number for the set in Instagram? Because this will go away after our live stream. And that way I can look it up, if you don't mind. I just want to see which one it is. Okay, so instruction book. It's the only paper product here. All the rest are plastic. Here are the stickers. Basically all for his torso. Yep, I think that's all just torso stickers. Oh, and then the hands. These do go for his hands. So, and y'all, he's so cute. I'm very impressed with the way this looks. I've seen it in person a number of times, and I think they nailed the shaping. And I just love, I love C-3PO so much. So this is really cool. And also I'll have to go back and read this. Meet C-3PO, human cyborg relations. Never as doomed as he might think. What a desolate place this is. Meet the model designer. Hey, model designer. This is back when they used to include them in the instruction books. So this was designed by Jackson Hughes. Hi, Jackson, from the Lego group. And then, joined the 25th anniversary at Lego Star Wars LSW 25, which this came out in 2024. So this is 2 years ago. And yeah, interesting. I forgot Lego Star Wars. I celebrated that anniversary last year. So we will, never mind. These are the Star Wars instruction bags. I've got the instructions open right here. Let's start with bag 1. It looks like bag 11 is the one that had the C-3PO minifig. And there's no way that we will get to that today. And so that's good because I can track him down in our Christmas stuff and get him out so that he can be on display on this with this model where he belongs. So he has, I think, the little silver leg as well, which is important there. So nice. Let's see. I was happy you put the throwback video on your Instagram. Oh, you were happy I put the throwback video on Instagram. Yes, thank you. I was looking for it in Facebook because I also wanted to share it in my post on Lego Builders, and it didn't show up on Facebook for some reason. So I was like, wait, did I never share that? But I did. It just was only on Instagram. I'm excited because if I'm not mistaken, I think May 7th was the day they officially announced our season last year. So we're coming up on a year from when it was announced, and we're coming up on a year from when the show aired. So it first released in the US on May, I think it was May 19th. I'm 90% sure that's the right date. Yeah, because I think it was May 19th, and then the second episode was May 26th. I remember those dates just because we were setting up all of our watch parties and stuff, which Philip did an incredible job with, really, really making it a special experience. So yeah, I'm glad you liked that because I'm about to get real nostalgic about our season on Lego Masters as we come up on a year from it. And I'll be sharing lots of posts that are like throwback posts from it. So hope that doesn't annoy anyone. And also, I don't care if it does. It's for me. It's fun and to enjoy that memory. So yeah, I don't think it'll annoy anybody. So we had the most wonderful time. Yes, he did a great job. He really did with those watch parties. I'm going to tell him you said that and remind him about how good of a job he did. He deserves all the flowers for being such a supportive husband, especially one who he would have loved to have been on the experience with me. And it just didn't work out for us both to go at the same time. And so, or like both to be away from work at the same time. And regardless, he had a lot of FOMO with missing out with it, but he also was just incredibly supportive, regardless, of me and of John. Like just a wonderful, wonderful husband. I love him dearly. He's a good man. And many of you know him, and some of you don't yet. And so I'm excited for the day that those of you who don't know him get to meet him. Chances are, if you're meeting him for the first time, you're also meeting me for the first time in person too. So let's make that happen, y'all. And for starters, you can come to Brick Rodeo this summer. Come to Austin. Come join us. Say hello. I'm really curious to know when the next season of US Lego Masters will air. Happy May the 4th. Thank you. Keep it friendly. Absolutely. For all the mini doll folks. I love that. Yes. I love the keep it friendly. So if you are not aware, there's a wonderful community of Lego friends, fans that are also Star Wars fans who build incredible ships that blend the two together, and I love it so much. And our dear friend Pink Wheels, who's in the chat, does some really good ones every year for that too. So it's called Ship Timber. That's right. And it's so much fun. So it doesn't have to be Star Wars, but it often has a ton of Star Wars in it too. So I'm assuming that's what you're referring to, right? If I'm not mistaken. Also, everybody meet Pink Wheels. She's amazing. We first met in Utah, I think, at Brick Slopes, and had like such a really fun time. I love how you're always hyping him up. Oh, thank you, JJ. Honestly, I feel lucky and so grateful for him. So he's a really good guy. So I'm excited for you to. We're excited to meet you someday. To be honest, I would love to meet all of you because I know there's a few that we only know each other through the magic of this weird internet world that we live our lives in. But yeah. So howdy. Yes, Utah. That's what I thought. And you coming to Brick World this summer? No, I've actually never been to Brick World. I really want to go, but we spent a lot of money on a trip to Paris for our friend's 40th birthday this year. And that ate up a lot of our funds. And my hope is that we can still make it to Brick Slopes, Utah this year. But we will be at Rodeo because the Rodeo is here in Austin. So it's very convenient and easy for us to get to, of course. It's our hometown convention. But yeah, hoping to be able to make it to Slopes. And then maybe next year, Chicago. I've never been though. So it's been on the list for a very long time, and a lot of my Lego Masters buddies went last year, and I was like, maybe I should go this year or last year with them, but the timing was too late to figure it out. So you can only do Brick World this year. That's fair. Oh, out of town, as your out of town con. Gotcha. Yeah. Which I can't remember where you live. Do you have one that's in town near you though? Because you don't live in Utah. You also came from out of town for that one, right? I'm like trying to remember. We've gone the last 2 years, I think, to Slopes, Slopes, Utah, and last year Slopes, Colorado, which was fun. That was my home state, and so it was nice to go visit family there, which is good while we were there. And I wish they did another one this year, but I know that that's an expensive endeavor, and I hope they have a return to it eventually, though. So, oh, Atlanta, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Atlanta Brick Con, now the largest Lego con in the Southeast US. That's awesome. Really, really fun. That's also on our list. Our short list includes Atlanta BrickCon, Bricks Cascade, and Chicago. And then I would love to eventually make our way up to Toronto for Bricks in the Six, especially because we've got some Lego Masters buddies up there with Maya and Jamie, and then also Alex and Tone. And we've seen Maya at a few conventions since, but we haven't seen Jamie, Alex, or Tone. I haven't seen them since we filmed. And so that was October 2023. It's been way too long. So we just mostly chat through the internet, and I would love to see them in person. So yeah, that's hopefully on our list, but that'll be in November, so we'll see. My hubby's from outside SLC. It was fun to see his childhood house. That's fun. Isn't it neat to get that like reality tour? We call it we called it the Philip Joyner reality tour when we went up to his hometown for my younger brother's wedding randomly. So I grew up in Colorado. Younger brother was with my parents when they moved to Texas when I was in grad school. And so he spent a lot of his time growing up here, went to a university in Texas and got married there. And it was just outside of, it was in a sister city to sister town to Philip's tiny little town that he grew up in. So we got to go through and see his whole world. And it was like, wow, this is weird to see like where he grew up and all that stuff. It was fun. So that's cool. That's nice. And Salt Lake is such a gorgeous area. Jeff recommend Bricks in the Six. Yay! Oh, you went last year. That's fun. Second favorite after Brick Road. That's cool. That's really good to hear. I've heard wonderful things. And there's just such great builders up there that usually I feel like those Canadian builders that I'm friends with that go there also come to Brick World, but haven't been to a lot of the conventions I've been to. And so it's like, we've just kind of missed each other each time. I've gotten to know Annabelle pretty well because she's come to Brick Rodeo and then also Slopes, Colorado and Slopes, Utah. But yeah, there's a number of Canadian builders that I don't know in person, but that I know through online. So bits would be fun to get around to eventually. So we are chatting about Star Wars, of course. I'm curious if you have any love of Star Wars, and if so, what's a fun favorite memory that you have of Star Wars? We've been kind of chatting about that throughout the stream and encouraging people to talk about their experiences either with Lego Star Wars or with Star Wars in general. So it's been fun to hear kind of people's first Lego sets, Star Wars Lego sets, or first movie, or stories along those lines. So I'll share one of mine while you're thinking about yours too, as well. So I had mentioned, oh no, I already shared this. I was going to say the Rebuild the Galaxy on Star Wars or on Lego Masters was incredibly cool. So that was just a mind-blowing experience. It was our first episode, so it was also like overwhelming in all the right ways, where we had the cameras all over us and moving around the room. We had microphones that were constantly listening to you, even when you need to go to the bathroom and you're like, how did these magical people just show up out of nowhere to take me to the bathroom? Oh, right. I forgot they can hear everything. And it was a very overwhelming experience, but it was so fun. And what made it additionally extra overwhelming was the fact that circling around the room were Darth Vader and some stormtroopers, and they were actually very menacing people. And what's fun is since filming, there's a group of stormtroopers that were hired to do that, that work out of Atlanta. And I think they actually come to Atlanta BrickCon, so you've probably encountered them quite a bit. But they have started following me and a number of other people on our season on social media. And they're like, you don't know me because I had this mask on this entire time, but I was on your season of Lego Masters too, and we threw a big watch party with all our friends to watch us all in our stormtrooper get-ups and stuff. And I was just like, this is so cool. Like, this world is so small and so interesting. But yeah, like, what a fun job to get to do. Like, so interesting to be like, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm just headed to the studio lot to film an episode of Lego Masters. I'm, being a stormtrooper. Like, that's just what a neat life. So, favorite Star Wars moment. Okay, took my daughter to Galaxy's End. Fun in the full homemade printed Mando armor. Yes, of course you did. With teal, purple, and light gray colors. Awesome. And Clan Froggy themed logos. Okay, so cool. I'm gonna need some pictures of those. Do you have them on Instagram? Because I'd love to go through and see them. It was so fun for my daughter and I. Hubby, not so much. Oh, well, I would have loved that. That's really cool. I spent a month sanding and painting with knowledge help from my Lego friend, who is a cosplayer. That is so cool. What's been really fun about the blend of those two hobbies, there's so much overlap between the cosplay community and Lego fans. And my husband is a cosplayer, and I don't think I ever would have thought to call him that because he doesn't do it like throughout the year. He literally does it pretty much for Halloween. But there have been other times that he has, brought out some of his costumes from the past for different events and things. And he's so good at making these like handmade costumes. And it's just like a fun hobby that he's had. But it's been neat at Lego conventions for him to talk to others who do the same type of hobby, sometimes year round, more than maybe he does, and just get ideas and such. And also for him to like show off some of the cool things he's made too. So yeah, I'd love to see it, and I'd love to show Philip if you don't mind passing it on, sending a picture. You don't post your Instagram, that's fair. Yeah, totally fair. But yeah, if you feel comfortable, I'd love to see it and show Philip. But I also respect people's boundaries around like what you choose to post or share or whatnot. So that is so fun. Sorry, I stepped away on a phone call. What did I miss? Let's see. Pink Wheels and I were just chatting about her favorite Star Wars memories and things, and we were talking about brick slopes and other conventions. And I got started on, well, looks like, is this going to be a leg? Yeah, got started on probably the front part of a leg or the side part of a leg for our droid buddy. So all right. This is going to be a really fun build to have on display. I think he'll be pretty tall though. So I'm probably going to need to have him on one of the taller shelves that are in my Lego room. I still have been making a little bit of progress on getting it cleaned up and ready to go back in there to stream from. So I'm not always in the kitchen, which is where I'm at now. But it's not quite there yet. We're focusing a little bit more on Philip's office recently. So we got a new piece of furniture for him, and we're moving some things around and readjusting some things. We had to build the furniture because that's the style of furniture we bought. So that's been a little bit of the focus lately, but slowly getting there. Eventually I'll be back in there. So I'm building in there all the time. It's just such a mess that I don't really want to stream in there. So, all right. That's cute. Okay. So slowly coming together bit by bit, or limb by limb, if you will. So let's see. There is. She's going to our local anime con in full cosplay. That's so cool. But you bought this one. Okay, cool. We'll recycle the cosplay with a 1x1 Lego replica of characters wand. That's neat. That's really neat. I love to see when people add Lego into their cosplay as well. That's really cool. So, Philip, or I added a little bit into mine this last year for Halloween, and that was because I did Wicked related stuff, and Philip and I both did Wicked for our Halloween, but also I just pulled some things that were from the set of the Wicked shoot that I did, and the builds that I did for that. I was like, I need to also kind of add some things in myself. So very minimal for what I did for my costume, but I was wanting to replicate Bowen Yang's costume from his Shiz uniform. And I wanted to have his glasses. So I actually used some of the gold kind of filigree type design parts, just like hot glued on. So not brick built glasses. So, but a lot of fun. So very minimal touch, not near as cool as building an entire wand. So that's cool. Although for the Wicked project, I did actually work on building a wand that didn't get used in the project. So there were 9 builds total that I worked on. And then 5 of them made it to the final shoot. So some never got finished because we scrapped them partway through the whole process. So I have like a whole bunch of like prototypes of things that are still built because I've like planned to do some kind of content with them and share, here's this really cool experience I had, and here's some of the stuff that we created as a result. It's just, I haven't gotten around to it. So maybe eventually I'll just take them apart and sort the bricks if I don't get around to it. All right, bag 1. Got the start of a leg with a foot. We're seeing right now, we are not going to have some bendy knees. This is a firm standing character. So not a ton of posability below the waist, which I knew, but heads up, if that's something you were looking for, you're not going to find it in this droid. So let's see. Bev says, I've been planning a bookcase for Lego display in the living room, but I adopted a dog last Monday. Bev, I need to see pictures. And I have a huge kennel in that room now. Well, that makes me super excited. What's your doggo's name? What kind of dog? That's so fun. Fur babies are the best. My fur baby is... I can't see which couch she's on, so she must be laying down completely asleep. That's what she does now all day. Just sleeps all day. Rough life. RUFF. Pun stupidly intended. I love that though. So, and also, where did you adopt the pet? It's always fun to find out more about. Oh, that's too far down. Let's move that. So this set has a lot of pearl gray. Just saying, if anybody's looking for pearl gray pieces, it's a good one to pick up for that. Although a cheaper option probably would be, well, and I don't know if this is still on store shelves, but we got the Infinity Gauntlet a while back for Philip's office. It's cool. It's a really sleek build, but it's full of great parts too in gold. Bev, do you have a specific bookcase planned? Like you have one that you're going to buy, or are you going to build one, or what's the thought there? Makes me so happy that you're getting some display for Lego in your home, though. That's cool. Okay, I'm also liking that in this set you're getting a number of these in the pearl gold. These are very useful parts. So, Lacey, about 1 to 2 years old, was a stray. Oh, Giddings Animal Shelter. Okay. So we went on a field trip last Monday. She looks to be Border Collie and Pit. Wow, she's probably big. And she's a sweet doll. Oh, that's so fun. Well, welcome to the family, Lacey. I'm excited to meet her someday. What a sweet, sweet pup. And such a sweet family to join. I hope Lacey likes birds, though. I think that's probably a prerequisite in your house, right? That's really fun. We have been just like talking with a lot of friends about their pups recently and where they got their pups and adopted them and stuff, and spending time with friends that have dogs, and it just makes me so happy, and it also makes me a little sad because Penny's getting older, and you know, her energy's changing. She sleeps a lot more. That persistent cough that many of you have gotten the joy of hearing in the background is still around. But we do have her on some medicine that's been kind of addressing the symptoms, which is good. So I missed your question. Someone was barking. Oh, no worries. I'm trying to think of what I asked you about her. I don't remember what I asked, but I did say I'm excited to meet her sometime. So my first dog was dumped on the mean streets of a suburban Atlanta. Our second came from a shelter. I was never a dog person until we got our first dog. Oh my gosh, bless you for bringing these pups into your life, though, and giving them a much better life than they had before. Our pup Penny was adopted from a shelter. We went to Austin Humane Society, and actually, it's kind of a fun story. So Philip and I wanted to adopt. I'll come back to that. I asked about the bookshelf. I was asking if you have a specific bookshelf in mind, or if you're planning to build one, or what your thoughts are with that. And I ask in part because we're getting another set of bookshelves for the guest bedroom to hold some of the Lego display that's everywhere in the house because we've run out of space and we need to move some of that. But we also swap some things out Lego wise seasonally. So we don't want to like completely unbuild stuff. So house is a little full. So that's the question. Yes. But yes, we were wanting to adopt a dog, and we went to a number of different shelters in town, and we found one that we thought, this is the perfect dog. We found online. We were very, very excited about this pup and very, very eager to go meet it. And I think it was a boy dog. And we went to meet him, and he was terrified of men. Which our house is me and Philip. And so not really the right house for this pup. It was so sad because we both were very excited about it. And Philip in particular had his heart set on this pup. And we'd been to so many shelters at this point, and we were just getting really discouraged. And we weren't really finding a dog that both of us wanted either. So this was the first one that we both were like really excited about together. And so it's just like, oh, not again. Like this process is taking forever. And I don't know. We were both really down about it. And Philip was like, do we just go get dinner, or we could run to the Austin Humane Society and like just take a look at dogs there? We hadn't been there yet because there's a ton of shelters in Austin. And that was just like not on our list right away. And we decided, you know what, let's just swing by and see just a quick glance, and then we'll go get dinner. And we walked in and walked past Penny's crate, and I saw her, and I just stopped and was staring, and I just knew like, oh, I love her. I love her so much. I want to meet her. And Philip walked past me and like kept going through. And then he turned around and he looked and he saw me, and he just saw the expression on my face and was like, I think we're going to have to meet this dog. And she was so sweet and so quiet and just being really peaceful. And they took her out to meet us, and we went into the little room to meet her. And she immediately dove on the bench between the two of us and was so happy. And she's the softest dog I've ever touched, which is weird because she doesn't necessarily look like she'd be super soft, but she's like ridiculously soft, and she's so adorable. And we both instantly fell in love, and it was like, I'm so glad that we came to the Humane Society. And we went outside, and she was so friendly with other dogs, and we were like, this is gonna be great. Fast forward to finding out she hates other dogs, and she's real mean to other dogs. She's real great with people, which is the most important piece. But we cannot go for walks because she's wildly angry all the time at anything else with fur. And we're like, she tricked us. She tricked us. She duped us. But we love her. So totally worth it. Totally worth it. And she is definitely Philip's dog more than she is mine. She loves him more. It's okay. I've accepted my role in the family as not the one who the dog is head over heels for, but that's okay. She still loves me. She tolerates me, but she is obsessed with Philip. So when he was gone last week for work, oh my God, she was so depressed. I was like, girl, I'm here. I'll still give you food. We can hang out and cuddle. And she was like, nah, I'll wait till he's back. So, but okay, bags 1 and 2. So now we get the other side. This gives us the full scale and the full sizes of and shapes of like what we're getting for the legs. So that's pretty cool. It's going to attach with some ball joints here at the top. I like that it has two here. There's also one at the bottom. So again, this is going to be built into the base it stands on, I'm pretty sure. And so it's going to have a nice solid structure. And what's fun is Philip was in LA for this work shoot last week. And while he was there, he went to the Academy Museum. And at the Academy Museum, they had an experience where you could pretend to get an Oscar and hold a real Oscar briefly while they like filmed a little thing for you. So of course he had to do it. But now I'm going to replicate what he did, but holding my C-3PO and be like, see, I got to do it too. So, but I'm so happy that he got to have that experience. It was like, he was like, are you okay with me going without you? And I was like, yes, if you go any place that's super cool and you want to experience something like that, I'm supportive of you doing it, as long as if it's cool enough that we go back when I go. So totally fine. So I'm glad he went. He had a good time. So, and he, like I said, he did a great job at his work thing. I'm so proud of him. All right. Our second dog is a, oh, did I miss? Oh, I did miss something. Okay, let's see. They were looking for fosters to pull dogs from the shelter because they were out of time. Oh, thank you for doing it. Saw her photo and you were in love. She looks so much like Oreo. Oh, that makes me happy. Your second dog is a Belgian Millennios. I don't know how that's pronounced. I'm sure that's wrong. Shelter said he was a Millennios mix. DNA said no. Purebred. Oh, wow. Okay. Luckily, he isn't too crazy and one snuggles and hugs. He's 85-pound lapdog. Okay. Penny is, she bounces between a lapdog and then she wants to get as far away from us as possible. It's like as soon as her body hits a certain temperature, she's like, I'm done. She dives off the couch and runs away. But she is, I think 23, 24 pounds. Gosh, and she can get heavy even. So, all right. So here's part of the structure that is going to be what the legs attach to. So, yeah, I can't stand yet. So we'll get there. I'm going to need to look up that breed of dog, though, to get a picture of what your pup looks like. So that's fun. How many years have you been going to Brick World Chicago? So Malniwa. Oh, thank you so much. Malniwa. It's the dog they use in army or police. Oh, yeah, the German Shepherd yeah, gotcha. Okay, neat. And it was a purebred. I wonder if it was, do you think it was involved in work with the army or police before y'all got him? Just given that he's purebred, I wonder. But that's fun. Penny is a Whippet Terrier mix. So she has a little bit of the slender, kind of tall, slender body-ish, but she's not as tall as a traditional Whippet. And she has the face of a rat terrier. And she has the personality of a rat terrier. But she's fast. She's so fast like a Whippet. And she definitely has the eyes of a Whippet. She's a sight hound for sure. So you found you found the half sister on the DNA side. Oh, wow. This will be fourth. Brick World. Oh, it's like, I thought, by the way, Brick World, you were answering my question. Nice. That's fun. Yeah, we've still not gone. I like I said, I really wanted to go last year, in part two because Luke and Anne from our season live up in that area. And they did a little get together and watch party for the episode that aired that week. And I was like, so much FOMO. I think it might have been the wedding cake episode. It might have been the one after that. I don't remember, but yeah, I was like, it'd be so fun to see them. They did come down to Rodeo, so we did get to see them right after though. So that'll be good. That's fun. And this year Rodeo is going to be in a new location, new to us. So we've not had the convention at it's a water park. My mind is saying Great Wolf Lodge, and that's not right. Kalahari Resorts. Got there. It's at the Kalahari Resorts, and it's a much bigger room for the display. So we can have, I think, like 3 times the builds. So I'm excited about that. Thank you for the assist. I love this. I love all the help that y'all give me regularly with my amazing memory problems that pop up here and there. But yeah, it'll be fun to be there. It'll be nice to check that out and see. And yeah, like I said, a lot bigger display, which will be nice. And then I think a lot more people are bringing their kiddos. So it'll be interesting to have a more family focused event. I mean, it's always been like open to families to come, but this I think we'll see many more attending this time. So we'll see what happens. It's a little bit further from our house than the last location. The last location was a 5-minute drive, so we lucked out with that for sure. And yeah, definitely don't have the benefit of it being 5 minutes away this time, but that's okay. That is okay. I also am realizing I'm building this and you can't see anything. So let me pull this back a little further so that you can see what I'm working on. I liked Zach's question earlier too of what Star Wars thing are you watching, movie or show or whatever are you watching tonight for Star Wars Day? So if anybody is celebrating Star Wars Day, I'm curious to know your answer. Got a couple answers in the chat earlier, but yeah, wanting to know if anybody else has some plans for that. Oh, there we go. Right. This is a nice build with lots of interesting Technic pieces on the inside. And I find with a lot of these larger mechs that, of course, they're very Technic heavy because that helps make it stronger, which is good. So, oh, hello, Hector. Good to see you. I am having a wonderful May the 4th. Happy May the 4th to you as well. Welcome to the stream. We are building. Here, I'll give you a hint. You probably already know, but yes, we're building. I'll let you guess. A fun build. And while you're thinking through that, I also want to know from you, what is your favorite or a few favorite Star Wars memories that you have, whether Lego related or not? So favorite memory, yay, is dressing up as Star Wars characters on Halloween with my cousins. That's awesome. Which characters have you been? Do tell, do tell. I have been Chewbacca, which was one of the lowest effort costumes I've ever done. It was literally the like zip up onesie. That was a year where I was putting in no effort at all, and I just wasn't really having it. And then it ended up being fun. And Philip that year made an entire cosplay for Poe Dameron in his flight suit, and it was so good. And mine was so bad. But that was a fun year though. We had a good time. So I don't think I've been other Star Wars characters. Maybe I need to go back and be one though. So, and then also, are you building anything for May the 4th or watching anything for May the 4th or none of the above? I ran by our bricks and minifigs and our Lego store today, and both of them were like, you should have been here over the weekend, because they both had a ton of activity. I knew that both were going to have very minimal activity today, but I was like, I'll still swing by anyway. I also had some things I wanted to pick up. So, plus it's always nice to see my buddies at the stores. So it was still worth the trip. But yeah, I was like, yep, I missed all the festivities. I'm glad that they went well, though, at both stores. So we also have 3 bricks and minifigs. Actually, we have 4 now in the Austin area, and all of them had all different activities and things. So yeah, Darth Maul and Darth Vader. I need to see this. You have to send me pictures, please. Thank you. We'll be watching one of the movies tonight. Great. Which one? Do you know? Is it a game time decision? Is it a decision you have to make in conjunction with that husband of yours? Does he love Star Wars as much as you do? And do you love Star Wars a lot? I don't know that we've ever talked about Star Wars per se, but given that you've dressed up for as characters from Star Wars for Halloween, I would assume that there's got to be a little bit of a love there at least. So we started the stream with this guy. Oh, I can't do my thumb that way. Oh my gosh, that's hard. That one, right? Oh my gosh, there. With the Star Wars logo. It's really cool, y'all. It's a very impressive build. In just a minute, I can pull it over and show you. But right now I'm working on part of his torso for C-3PO, so I'm gonna work on that first. And then I'll pull it over. Okay, so we get our first 2 stickers. And these are ones that do like kind of match up with each other. So I want to, actually, I think they'll be okay. They kind of go side by side, which was a smart move on their part because then you don't mess it up too much if you don't get them perfectly aligned. Let's see. Please hold while I install the stickers. Okay. All right, one done. This. Okay, so this is the, oh, and of course there's a little dog hair in there. Speaking of Penny, she always has to be part of everything. Okay, so here's what those stickers are looking like. So it's like a whole bunch of wires, like the inside of his torso, which of course is perfect for C-3PO. And there's a whole bunch of them. There are seven stickers at the inside of his torso, and then 2 stickers that are for his palms of his hands. So, okay, wait, what? Oh, I was looking at the wrong picture. Okay, so then this one's going to go like that. Okay. Wait. Did I do that right? I did that wrong. Of course, I did them backwards. Oh, wait, no, I didn't. This is silly. Okay, I need to look at that picture. Sorry, y'all. Stickers always cause a delay in my ability to talk and build at the same time. Here we go. Okay, so this one goes on that side, like so. This one's on this side, like so. Now when I flip this around for that picture, what in the world? What did I do wrong? Oh, I have this whole thing flipped. One more time, y'all. Okay, let's see. Yay. Okay, I did it, finally. Oh my gosh, that took forever. Yay, here's the first part of the torso. The stickers are complicated to put on and have them in the right direction just because my brain was not wanting to get all of this to work effectively, but they're on nonetheless. We got there. We got there, friends. Looks like this will be his backside. There we go. Beep, beep, boop. So here's C-3PO's butt. All right, let's see. So what do we have in here? Can I be a party pooper? You can. I found the Techno Lego C-3PO in a bulk buy, and it's my favorite Star Wars set. I have Pit Droid, Jango, and Darth from the Technic Star Wars character line as well. That's awesome. I love it. I'm so happy that you found those. And I love that you said it's your favorite Star Wars set. It's so fun when you find those different finds in different places. I would love to see a comparison between the two. And I'm sure someone did a video that shows them. So I'm sure I could find one. I really wanted this one because I wanted one to match the scale of the other R2-D2 that I still need to get for John and I for the show. So, but yeah, I really want to see that one. That's cool. So I'll have to look it up. The Technic Lego C-3PO. How big is it? Is it like in comparison size-wise, how big is it? Okay, what else did I miss? Let's see. He also likes Star Wars 2. I loved it as a kid, but a close friend ruined it for me, and I stopped following it. But in college, I got back into it. Probably watched one of the prequel movies. Nice, good stuff. I'm glad that you got back into it and that you found your way back to your love of it or enjoyment of it. Favorite characters are Jar Jar and Padme, Anakin, and Darth Maul. Interesting. So you're really all about the prequels. Nice. But the same, if not a tad smaller. Okay, cool. Nice. I'll have to look it up. That's really cool. The Technic sets sometimes are just like ridiculously incredible and really impressive builds. And honestly, I didn't do much Technic building. I just haven't done a ton of Technic building really at all. I remember doing some as a kid, but just not too much in adulthood. And then I did a little bit more in prep for Lego Masters and while on the show and stuff, but to get more exposure to it and to better understand how it works. But I typically, if I'm getting any Technic building in, it's going to be a part of a set that's more traditional bricks, and it's like the Technic core to keep it strong or sturdy, like the BB-8 over here, or the Yoda, or not Yoda. Whoo, I did it. I did what I said not to do. The Grogu set, the internal core is all Technic. So, all right, we have one leg done. We're going to move on to bag 4, and we're going to build another leg. And this will be probably bags 4 and 5, if I would assume we're going to follow the same plan as before. So yeah. Oh, there's Penny's coughs. She's like, I don't think the people on the stream have heard me today. Let me make sure they hear my noise. Poor little lady. Okay. Where else are we? What am I missing? Oh, I'm missing. Oh, here it is. It's missing the piece that is the cup side of the ball and cup for connecting the legs together. But it was right there in front of me. I find with these plastic bags, it's weird because most of the review sets that I get from Lego are mailed from Denmark or Hungary. And because of that, they shifted over to all paper bags, like, I don't know, before the US, I guess, because ours are predominantly made in Mexico right now, and eventually at the Virginia plant. They just hadn't switched over yet to the paper. And because of that, I've just gotten used to that being the bulk of what I build because of the review sets being in it. And so anytime I get the sets that are from the US, from the store, or when we request specific sets from the Lego Investor Network, which we can do just a few times a year, those are always mailed from our local area. So that's not only the review sets are the ones sent from Denmark. But it always surprises me because I'm like, oh yeah, these all have plastic bags again. I forgot all about that. So I'm glad that we're moving in the direction of getting rid of them and having the all paper. The paper is not 100% paper. I think it's 95%. And in some markets, it's recyclable in the regular paper, and in other markets, it's not. So I learned that the hard way because I was posting about a company called Ridwell, which I think is amazing. And it was not like sponsored by them or anything. I just wanted people to know that Ridwell can help you recycle your Lego bags since they're not typically recyclable. And so my point of the video is to talk about that. But at the very beginning of the video, I said that Lego is moving to all paper bags, and then proceeded to talk about how if you have the older sets that, or the current sets still that have the plastic, it's not recyclable, but here's a way to do it. So again, the core of the video was really about letting people know about Ridwell and what to do with their plastic bags. But what people focused on was, you messed up, you said wrong, it's not all paper, it's 95% paper. So I got many comments from people who were upset. And I said, thank you. You're right. I was wrong. That's okay. It happens in life. But also, my message wasn't really about the paper so much as it was about the recyclability or lack of recyclability of the plastic. So yeah. So there. But yeah, we have a local company in town that's a local shop called Parker and Scott. We love them dearly. They're great people, great owners, and wonderful community members. And they have a subscription with Ridwell so that you don't have to do it individually. So Ridwell allows people to do this individually. I've got friends who do that, which is great. But instead of doing it individually, we can actually just bring ours to the shop at Parker and Scott, and they have the contract with them. So that allows us to have a space that we can drop things off without paying for it, which is really nice. So. But yeah, that said, long story getting longer, this is the first set I've had in a while that's been plastic bags. And honestly, I will say I like the fact that these plastic bags don't lose pieces as easily as the, what color is this? Is this silver? Oh, it is. It's the shiny silver. Okay. The plastic bags don't like lock in pieces as much as the paper bags do. I find almost every single paper bag that I open for Lego has a Lego piece that like something's missing, and I'm like, what? And then I look back in the bag and it's trapped in there. It just, for some reason, it always gets stuck. So, oh, right, because this leg is silver. So we're getting some silvery parts here. So let's see. Second favorite Star Wars moment, skipping school in the 12th grade and having my brother pick me up to see The Phantom Menace. Yes. So we were probably about the same age. I worked at the movie theater in high school, and I remember when that movie came out. And I was saying earlier, this was actually my first big Star Wars story. Ooh, I need to go get my charger. Sorry. It's just warned me that it's going to cut out. And I was plugged in. Shoot. Oh, it's in the other room. Anyway, I worked at the theater when Phantom Menace came out. We had a man who dressed in full Darth Maul cosplay and came to every other showing of the film for a week. And we had at least 7 showings of the film a day, back to back. We had 15, I think. And so depending on which theater he was in, he would either see 7 or 8 times. And that meant that he would also go home and redo his cosplay every single time. And it was incredible. So while I remember the film coming out, I remember him more than anything because the news media came and it was a huge story, which was a lot of fun. So yay, I saved the day. Everything is charged. It's not going to cut out on us. That was a freak out moment. Sorry, y'all. But yeah, that was when I was in high school. So that was so much fun. I loved working at the movie theater. That was also when I enjoyed watching Star Wars, and like first remember enjoying watching Star Wars. I know I'd seen the previous films before, and if I'm not mistaken, the redo of the re-release of the original trilogy came out before the prequel trilogy, right? That was also when I worked at the movie theater, which was wild how excited people got about it. I remember that they sent us a poster, and the big movie posters were like on that really thick canvasy, like not paper, but canvas, right? That you would roll up, and really good quality. And we were told by Lucasfilm that we were required to send them back the poster. So we could only have it up for promotion. And as soon as a certain point happened, we had to send it back to them. And if we didn't send it back, then they wouldn't let our theater have the movie. And that was like a strict rule that they had for every single theater. And every single day, someone would come in and say, how much is that? Can I buy it? And we would tell them, no, we have to send it back. Otherwise, the Lucasfilm won't send us the movie. And people got really angry and really wanted it. And one day, a person ran into the movie theater, jumped up high, grabbed the bottom of it, and pulled, and it ripped off the wall, and he ran out. And our manager was so freaked out and was just sure we weren't going to get the film. And of course, they still sent us the film because they're not going to let that completely eliminate a whole theater from getting it. But I remember that being such a big deal, and all of us just watching it happen and being like, oh, no, disaster. It was like such a big deal. So, and also what typically happened with those movie theater posters is we would just take them home, because once the movie was out and new posters came in for the next movie, they would just be like, who wants this? And so my bedroom was full of all of the movie posters from that specific period of time. And years later, decades later, my parents moved and wanted to get rid of all of it. And they boxed it all up and said they were going to bring it to me. And I told them, I don't want it. Please just get rid of it. I don't want it. And they insisted that I go through it and that they didn't make the decision for me. And they gave it to me, and I have all of it, and I still don't want it. And it's still taking up space in our garage that I have to deal with eventually. And also, I was a kid, so I didn't take good care of the posters. So it's not like they're in good condition and I could sell them or anything. Like, they're clearly not worth anything at this point. But that's the story, y'all. All right. So we're making a second leg. It's pretty much like the first, but a little bit more silver. Not too much exciting there. Let's see here. Welcome back, Paul. Finally wrapping up my work day. Thanks for letting me spend part of May the 4th with y'all. Thank you for spending time with us. I'm glad that you joined. It's nice to have you here. And I stream every Wednesday, typically around 1 p.m. Central Time, until typically like 4:30ish. Today's a little bit longer stream, and on Monday, because I wanted to get through both the sets as much as I could. I plan to stream again this Wednesday, though. So if you'd like to join, if you're free, I'd love to have you. And that goes for all of you, of course. My brother and I were Star Wars kids. Oh, fun. My brother got the OG Kenner Millennium Falcon. Awesome. I threw it out in high school because it has stains from battery acid. Oh, isn't that sad? When you're like, no, you look back and think, well, how did we ever let that slip away from our hands? I had a bunch of Lego sets that were incredible, most of which, if I remember correctly, were gifts from my aunt and uncle. And I wish that we still had them. And I've been told a number of different stories about where they went. But I think they were just given away. And at this point, they're gone. They're long gone. And it makes me sad because I had some like real nostalgic fun ones that I just would love to still have again. So for me, the nostalgic builds that I had as a kid included the Islanders series of pirates. I loved those. I had all of them. From what I remember anyway, I had most of them. And then also the Black Sean, the second wave of them. And I think it was Space Police that was like red and black. Your mom, I'm assuming? Yeah, that's what I figured when you said I was assuming it was a parent or sibling, potentially. But yeah, it's sad when those things move along. So in that massive amount of stuff that my parents gave me to go through, we went through some of it recently, and it has all of my old Batman Batman figures, because I used to have a whole bunch of those from really Batman the Animated Series, and before that time, just they had a whole bunch of Batman toys. Yay, it's a leg. So just brief comparison, you can see this one's got the silver. So fun silvery details that matter for this version of the character from this time period. What time period would this be if he has the silver leg? Because there's the other time later when he gets the red arm. Do y'all remember? I'm sure y'all would remember more than I would with this. So trying to see if it says in here. Not seeing anything yet. Throughout the Star Wars saga, C-3PO is refurbished with miscellaneous new or used parts. Inspired by his look when we first met him in A New Hope, he sports his characteristic silver right leg. Okay, so that was from A New Hope. The first C-3PO minifigure I got was from A Force Awakens, and I think that's when he has the red arm. I'm pretty sure, timeline-wise, right? But I remember that, and I was like, oh, wait. This can't be used. I mean, it could be used to represent him from before, but also not, because it's a different look and vibe for him. So, all right, bag 5. Let's get another leg on here. Finish out this leg. How many bags are there total? There's 11 total. Yeah. Oh, I'm seeing C-3PO in here, so it looks like we put him back. And what I said earlier was that when Philip and I were getting ready for Christmas time, we needed a C-3PO for our winter village, and so I couldn't find the one that I had from before. It was just packed away somewhere, but we opened this one to pull this one out to have him in there, and or maybe it was like we had him in multiple scenes and we needed an extra one. Anyway, Philip opened this and I was like, that's a review set that I need to do eventually. So let's just make sure that it makes its way back in there. So it did, which is good. So also, I just want it on the final display once I have it up. So, but yeah, I really want it to be with the R2-D2. So I'll have to eventually go back and get the R2. Which, given that those came out like 2 years ago, I need to be smart with my timing and not miss out on it before it leaves store shelves. So, all right. I do like that this mixes in some of the gold pieces with the silver pieces, and also the dark bluish gray and light bluish gray to give him that weathered look from the film, or like that leg, the weathered look that has the replaced, replaced leg, I guess, right? Replaced parts to give that silver detailing. So fun. And I like that we're getting the shiny silver in there too. So that's always good. Let's see. Okay, another fun question for y'all. Who is your favorite Star Wars character? Bev and Missy, these questions are just for you. Since I know that you don't really follow Star Wars all that much. I am kind of wanting to figure out, though, like what Star Wars show or movie or something should you all watch? Could we get you to watch to see if you could, like, not even necessarily to get you into it, but just to see, like, what your opinion is of it? If you ever got around to watching something. Oops. One thing I love about any subculture, so I'm seeing a lot of this in the Pokemon fandom right now, but how every single subculture has so much depth and complexity and storytelling and lore to it, right? It's so fun to me to see where all of that comes from and where how much it affects and impacts people. Like, I just find fandoms fascinating. And, you know, being in this Lego fandom, of course, we have our own lingo, our own everything, right, with all of this as well. But every single one, I just feel like there's a whole deep dive that you could get to, and you could learn so much and also barely scratch the surface with a lot of these things too. So like with Pokemon, I know for sure, even though it's been like a year of me being interested in this now, it still feels like there's so much new to me, especially because like my engagement with the hobby keeps shifting and changing over time, which is a lot of fun. So yay. Missy says, I always liked R2-D2 and BB-8 is cute. Okay, I have to agree. I was thrilled with BB-8 in the new movies. New is such a silly word to say when the first one came out in 2015. 11 years ago, y'all. That's wild to think through. But yes, I love BB-8. I also love Chopper, who is another droid in a different series. that often gets jokingly referred to as a murder bot. Yeah, very intense one. I also love, I think the droids in general, I would have to say, I love the one from Rogue One. I know his name. I have him built in the other room on the shelf, and I just can't think of his name right now. But it's the fully black tall droid. Oh, come on, brain, work with me here. K2SO, thank you, Brendan. We had a Hallmark ornament of BB-8 that was cute. I love that. Oh my gosh, you probably get visibility of all the Hallmark ornaments early. That's got to be fun. I love all the Lego Hallmark ornaments, of course. And when I was a kiddo, I used to always want my parents to get me a Hallmark ornament every year, and they resisted for so many years. And then eventually they started to buy me a few. And so I have a few of those from my childhood that are so fun and mean a lot to me because of the memories and nostalgia. So that's so fun. Is that done? That's done. But yes, what was I saying? Oh, characters. So I think Ray is up there for me. I think Poe Dameron. I loved Poe, but also I have a crush on Oscar Isaac, so it's kind of hard to not say him. Like maybe that's not a fair one to say. Princess Leia is such a badass. Love her so much. And so powerful and smart and such an incredible leader. So I'd probably say Leia if I had to pick one. So they aren't fun setting them at Walmart, I bet. I would imagine that would be such a pain to have to go through all the individual setup for each of those. But I will say that they're greatly appreciated by those of us who love Christmas. Our house becomes a winter wonderland full of everything Christmas. So we love ornaments and silly things. Yeah, K2SO, I loved his personality. I thought he was so funny, so sarcastic, and just brilliantly cast. It was a really fun. He was a really fun character in that story. And Rogue One is honestly, gosh, that's one of the best ones. Thank you, Bev. I love that. You're welcome. I really do appreciate all of the work that y'all do. That means a lot that you do that. And cards, I feel like are an underrated but ever so important thing in life. So I love that y'all help enable people being able to celebrate with each other all these really fun things. Like it's a really cool job that y'all get to do. So thank you for sharing more about it with me. I don't remember what I was saying. All right, more silver. Here we go. Ta-da, lots of this. This is for the foot. The foot. I don't know why I said it that way. It's a fake accent that I just made up out of nowhere. Okay, so tomorrow, watch mine and Philip's social media because we will share the stuff that he's been working on once it's live. And then you'll get to see, and then we can talk about it, which is fun. I'm very excited for him. It was fun. One of the things I love about him working from home, but us both being home all the time, or most of the time, is getting to hear him in meetings. Y'all, one of the coolest things in life is to get to watch and hear somebody else shine in their work. And he does such a good job with his work meetings. And today they were like cheersing and applauding the work that he did for this project. And it was really fun. So from the other room, I sent him a text with like the confetti blaster emoji, like going all over the screen. Because I was like, I want you to know that I'm hearing this. And I know that people are bragging on you and you deserve it. You deserve all your flowers. So it's been a really interesting treat to get to see like him in action. So, all right, here's another leg. This one connects up here. So you can see we've got the balls here and the cups here for the ball and cup joints. Those are going to connect. And the fun thing is it creates this connection that's at a slight angle. Uh-oh. That piece fell off. Let me fix that first. Where did this go? Of course, it's in an area that like you can't see in the instructions really easily. Oh my goodness, it's way back here. Here we go. Okay, so if this is like this, and that goes like that. Okay, cool. One more try. Okay, so cups, balls, those connect together at a jaunty angle. And then down here, you can see we used this slope piece, and that also holds him at that jaunty angle. So now his legs are going out just a tad, but in such a natural way. And these legs are really well built. This is like a fantastic mech. This is pretty cool. So yeah, so we have the start of his body. We are on to bag 6. And it is 5. So I think I'm going to stop and take a break. And I think we're going to come back to this on Wednesday. So if you're down for it, you can join me on Wednesday for my live stream. I will be starting up probably around 1 or 1:30. I'll post about it tomorrow once I get it set up. But we will continue our journey through C-3PO. And then I will also find another small build to work on too. So other things that I have coming up soon, I've got the Shrek review that I've been working on. Philip and I are going to watch the second movie and finish building it. And that one I'm going to share as a traditional review, like video, just overview of it. But stay tuned for that one, as well as for the Jurassic Park Jeep, because both of those we're doing like not during lives, but during regular life when we're watching movies and building together in our fun way. And then I have so many really cool review sets that are coming, and I'll be saving a lot of those for our live streams. So lots to look forward to with some botanicals and Disney and other sets that are coming up soon. So yay! Lots announced recently too, which is great. So I can actually talk about them. So anyway, great to see y'all. Thanks for joining. Happy May the 4th. I am excited to hear about what your plans are and how your evenings go as you continue to build some cool things. Reminder, we started with this beautiful, beautiful one. Really wonderful letters. My favorite detail, actually, beyond the shaping of the letters, my second favorite detail is the pseudo little bits of greebling that you see between the letters. I think they did a really good job adding in some fun detail there. And then, of course, there's the little hidden compartment at the top. So fun. All right. Thanks again for joining. Y'all are fantastic. Take care. Build kindness. And may the 4th be with you. I always want to say, and also with you.